Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Stampede. My name is Legendary Vash, and I'm here to give you the full rundown of tonight's Royal Rumble. We only have 4 events for tonight, and it was, look, highlight of everything. We have Charlotte Flair. The woman came back and she took it. Not number 30, like we guessed on the sidecast. It was number 27. She took the spot of Io Sky and others. Even Roxanne could have gotten it, but sadly she was not it. This was not her chance. But imagine they actually took it. That would have been insane. But the next match we had was the ladder match. Sorry, it wasn't ladder match. It was the tag team of the 2 out of 3 versus DIY and Motor City Machine Gun. We also had the pop up of the Street Profits. Are they cooking something? Was this our match of DIY versus Street Profits at WrestleMania? Would this be it? Let's talk about it. And then we had our title, our WWE ladder match, because Gunther is irrelevant, right? Right, guys? Who knows? But we had Cody Rhodes versus KO. Cody Rhodes came out on top. And Sami Zayn was there. Is this something that's going to be a conversation coming this Monday and Friday? We will see. But then we had the men's Royal Rumble, that we had our third champion, John Cena. No, sorry guys, it wasn't John Cena. It was main event, the future WrestleMania main event, Jey Uso. And without further ado, that was our 4 events. Because without further ado, let's get to start the show. Get hyped for episode 111 of Weebs of the Ring. And let's get ready to rumble.
Ooh, with anime in our souls. Thoughts of wrestling out of control. We are a group of weebs who we love the entertainment of professional wrestling. So allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the Royal Rumble, give our thoughts and predictions on what's to come on the road to WrestleMania, and give you an experience inclusive to all you nerds out there. Grab your steel chair, yell for the table, get put through this experience unlike any other. Brought to you by Animal Studio. This is the Weebs of the Ring podcast. How's it going, everybody? It is your world champion Watkins here. Not gonna lie, I am exhausted, folks, ladies and gentlemen. If you missed our sidecast, you missed out on some fun, but don't worry, you'll see some highlights coming out to our socials and all of our lovely short form places eventually throughout the week and all that. But that's neither here nor there. We're here to talk about the Royal Rumble, and of course, I am never alone. The world champion is never alone in his endeavor, unlike Cody Rhodes. For you see, I have 2 lovely people that I don't put down because I'm the world champion. No, I have awesome people with me. Of course, first, on my right, the visionary himself, Legend D Vash. Vash, how you doing after our stream? After our 5-hour stream?
I'm doing great. It's your boy, the visionary, the undisputed visionary, Legendary Vash. And as always, I give the Stampede, give you the run of the night. And we're here to talk about this beautiful show that me and Watkins did 5 hours ago. That we did this beautiful sidecast from 6 p.m. until, 5:45, 5:50-ish to like 10:30-ish. And it was such a good show to experience our first POE of the Royal Rumble sidecast. So much fun. And chat, hopefully watch it. If not, go on social media to the handles of Weebs of the Ring, TikTok, Blue Sky, Twitter, every on social media that we're there and handle. You'll find. Or also if you haven't yet deleted TikTok and it hasn't re-downloaded, go to the website and everything. But our content's there, our reactions are there. And Jey Uso won. Yeet. That is something I didn't expect. We will get into that. Charlotte Flair won. Hey, we will definitely have a rant from these two right here. Our walkers of the drop, or we will see where that leads to.
Yeah, drop
And
this walk.
I'm excited. I'm also excited to talk about this conversation because chat, y'all don't know that Royal Rumble of 2024 started Weebs of the Ring, and now a year later we're here. So it's really is full circle. So I'm really excited about this as well.
Mm.
Oh man, I should not have worked out today. My body is killing me.
Mm.
But of course, as always, we have the genius of the mat to help us process all of these stories going on And man, there were a bunch of stories, especially in the men's Rumble match. But we'll get into that later on. But of course, we got the genius of the Met drop this box. Strap, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, like Vash said, we definitely have a lot of discussion tonight when it comes to certain decisions that took place on the show, and I'll just leave it at that for now.
Yeah, because we're gonna dive in. We got, oh my god, these Rumble matches. There's a lot to go into. There's a lot to just kind of talk about, a lot to either, bitch and moan about, or, love and all that. Luckily for us, there might be maybe one, maybe two things to really complain about. So you guys are in for a good ride here. So we're just gonna dive right in. We're gonna start with our women's Royal Rumble match. Now, I'm gonna preface this by saying this match was fun. This match was good.
Yeah.
We had, I would agree with some people saying, okay, it was a bit of a slow start. So I do get that mindset with it. But, we had some good spots. We had Ivy Nile and Maxine Dupree kind of facing off and having maybe a bit of a blow off with their feud thing going on. And speaking of Ivy Nile, she had her thing with Lyra because she did call her out the other day and all that for the Intercontinental title. We had some surprise entrants, because the dirt sheets were fed lies, because good on you, WWE, for feeding those lies about like Alexa Bliss, and Jordan Grace was the biggest liar. Like, I called that shit. I knew that shit was false when she said that. She said,
You did say that.
I'm gonna host my mother's 50th birthday party. Girl, you blocked out.
But
Jace.
also,
you blocked out. Like,
if people check the Jordan Grace interview that I saw from Chris Van Veit, that she said herself that she usually gets a phone call of how last year 2024 happened. She got a phone call a week before Royal Rumble. So same thing here. Like, okay, people could believe her online, but if you actually saw the Jordan Grace interview, you would know that she is willing to go. She said that she wants to be in the Royal Rumble 2025. So for her, she's like, hey, mom, your birthday's this weekend. I'm going to celebrate it next weekend. I got you. I got to go to work.
Yeah, exactly. Man. But, like, one of the biggest things that come out of this. So, like, again, the whole match as a whole was fine, going into it. But, like, the biggest thing here, and this is why you guys are about to meet the fusion, Oh, wait, hold on.
Well,
are we doing Pythagoras fusion for this? Or are we doing fusion dance for this? Okay, fusion dance. There we go. Boom. The winner of this match.
Yeah.
The winner of this match. You know what? Let's start with the positive part of this. Vash,
Yeah.
what were some of the positives
I was
you had
about to say,
this?
Kim, thank you. Oh, you know me so well, Walkers. Oh, I just love this.
Yeah.
I just love the synergy here because I was like, hey, before we get to the full round shot, can we talk about the positives? Because look, I'm gonna bring out the positive on my end. This is positive Vash. I'm very proud of our NXT superstars because one, we didn't have only one, we didn't only have two, we had three. We had Lash Legend, we had also Jada Parker, and then we also had Stephanie Valkyr and Julia. We have four NXT superstars, and Julia got where was it? Julia got number 28. Stephanie Valkyr was number 24. Jada Parker was number 16, and that's number 9. Like, that's very well balanced. Each of them had their own place in each spot, and they did amazing, great balance for the NXT superstars. I wish Last Legend was there with the other girls, but they did a good balance. It was Last Legend, Bianca, Naomi, and who was it? Last Legend, Bianca.
Jade Cargill. I mean, no, never mind.
Yeah,
it's Jada Parker. Jada Parker.
Yeah, we're getting into that.
They all were amazing. Io Sky came out number 1. Was insane. I'm gonna pass this to Drop first to talk about it because I know he was the Io Sky front runner and everything. So I want to ask you, Drop, before I get into Io Sky and everything, how did you feel once you heard Io Sky's number 1? Did you think that she was still gonna win it as number 1?
I mean, there was a part of me that felt like she did get a chance because I thought when they had Io enter at number 1, I thought this is when they were going to start diving into the whole feud of Rhea Ripley because Rhea Ripley also won the Royal Rumble at number 1. So I thought by some chance, if Io Sky did win the match tonight, they could have easily slid that in where Rhea and her could be in the ring, and Rhea could be like, okay, now we're here. I won the Rumble at number 1. You won the Rumble at another 1. And then obviously go from there, building up to Mania. So there was a part of me that really felt like they were going to go in with that. Unfortunately, they didn't. We'll obviously get into that. But honestly, what I was really expecting from Io tonight was like a good showcase. I was expecting her to be in the match for a bit, which she was, so I was happy for that. The only problem I really had is I was kind of surprised she wasn't like the final 4. That's what really threw me off guard, because I understand that, Nia Jax is always going to get the spot in the matches where she's like going after a whole bunch of people. She eliminates like 4 people at once. I didn't understand why Io had to be part of that, because it didn't really make any sense at all in the slightest. And you got to keep in mind, like I'll even say that with Bianca. I was kind of surprised Bianca was a part of that, if I'm being honest as well, because I thought heading into this thing it was going to be Io, Bianca, Charlotte, and then I guess you could throw Roxanne in there or Jordan Grace. So I wasn't really that big of a fan of the spot, because I personally feel like that shouldn't have been the way that Io got eliminated. Feels like a little underwhelming to me. And my biggest gripe with this entire thing, like I'm not sure, before I get into that, I'll stop myself. The thing I really like, honestly, the most about this is the NXT talent. That was the thing I was looking forward to the most. I was looking forward to the NXT talent, because the Rumble is the perfect place to get your audience familiar with who's going to lead the charge, which is why I was a really big fan of that whole moment you had in the match itself, where you had Stephanie, Julia, and Roxanne aligning with one another, which is pretty funny considering the kind of view that Julia and Roxanne has going on. But let's put that to the side for now. But I kind of like how you have like the new generation against the old generation. You had like Charlotte, Bianca, and who else was part? Yeah, you had like the 3 of them there. So I thought that was actually really cool to incorporate that. So that was a really good showcase for all the girls from NXT. So I was really happy for that. And I was also happy to see Jordan Grace, because Jordan Grace, I've been a fan of her ever since I started watching NXT again and diving a little bit deeper into her career. And it was really nice to see her come out. And I like how they put over in commentary that she made her last year she came in as a TNA wrestler. Now this year she's making her debut as a WWE wrestler. And I also like how she kept her theme song, which Triple H, if you're
I did too.
By any chance, Triple H, if you're watching this, don't change the theme song. You showed her having the theme song at the Rumble. There's no reason for her to show up on like Raw or SmackDown that you're gonna randomly give her a new song. Makes absolutely no sense to change that. And you also have the partnership thing going on right now, so I'm not really sure if licensing would really be that big of an issue to begin with. And she's and I also, when I was watching that Chris Van Vliet interview, she's also a big fan of the Steiner Bros. So that's where the whole siren comes from.
Yes.
Because when
and also like before, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say it's like when the producer was trying to make her theme, she said, "Oh, I told him, what I liked and everything," and that's how he incorporated that.
Yeah, and really quick, before you continue on, just to kind of piggyback with like the whole music thing. If y'all saw some of the coverage from this past weekend, there's been a lot of just like crapping on Def Rebel this past weekend. Like there was some stuff with like Bailey like being like, "Ugh, forget Def Rebel." There were signs, and Cody acknowledging the fact like, Sheamus needs to get his old theme back.
Yeah.
Triple H even kind of acknowledging it too. Like, Def Rebel needs to go.
Yeah.
And like, especially during the Women's Rumble, there was a lot of times like I was kind of memeing during our stream too with it, but at the same time, it's just like, wait, who is this?
Yeah.
What? Like, you had PFC come out, like all 3 members came out, and I completely forgot what their theme sounded like all 3 times. And like, there was even times where Vash was just like, wait, who is this? What? Oh, yeah, PFC. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's PFC. Cool. Neat. Get them out of here. So, yeah. And, like, we'll get into that, too, like, with another star who came back with their old music. Thank the Lord, because y'all don't want none of that. But
Oh, thank
yeah,
God, man.
I am so happy.
Mm.
But yes, all right. So continue on with the Women's Rumble.
Yeah, so I was really happy for just that overall presentation because like I'm really big on NXT. Like even when I was watching with my mom and my stepdad, my mom was asking me questions because obviously they just stick to the main shows like Raw and SmackDown. They don't really venture out like I do, where I watch NXT and I see how that talent and I see that talent grow. And I look online when it comes to a lot of these news articles that come out. They don't really know any of this information. I don't expect them to. So that's why they come to me. So that was a plus for me. And also another good thing as well is Alexa Bliss is back. I was really happy to see that. And I actually like how I don't know if it was Cole or Wade throwing a little shots at like the dirt sheets online saying that she wasn't going to come back or anything.
Yeah,
but I
they
like
did.
seeing Alexa Bliss back. I'm glad that she got a big pop because I've always been a fan of Alexa Bliss. I became a fan of her like back when it was like 2016 like SmackDown Live days when she was like the goddess, because Alexa is a great heel, which I'm really hoping she tunes into that heel character because I just feel like that fits her better. You know, that snotty attitude, thinking you're all that's the kind of Alexa Bliss I've always loved. So I'm just glad to have her back because, again, this is a nice addition to the women's roster. Alexa Bliss is needed, just like Jordan Grace is needed. So I'm really happy for that. To me, in a way, it kind of seemed like they were teasing a potential program of her and Liv Morgan, which I'm completely okay with that. And obviously, I'm going to be in favor of Alexa Bliss with that, if I'm being completely honest. But that was really nice.
And I do want to piggyback with Alexa Bliss as well, because there are a couple things I wanted to note too with this. First of all, her jacket had it was Friend Forever, and the only letter that was lowercase in Friend was R, so it was Fiend Forever. So it's like, okay, giving homage to Bray Wyatt. Love to see that.
Yep.
But also too, I'm glad you mentioned the goddess gimmick, because Alexa Bliss technically came back in her like dark gothic gimmick. So it's like, okay, are we going, when we move forward with Alexa, back on the roster, I'm assuming now we're going to be sticking with like that dark version of her, which, I mean, I know we've talked about a little bit here on the show about like hoping that she comes back in like that goddess persona, but it's like, if she is coming back in the dark Alexa character, like, is this maybe a blessing in disguise a little bit? I mean, again, this is a different regime now, and they don't really do too much of like the spooky stuff. So it's like, okay, could Alexa just be more of like a fierce competitor rather than like a spooky Alexa Bliss and all that?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping too, because like that's why I'm glad that we have these mid-card titles now, so at least it gives her something to work with. I'm not going to say that she doesn't get a chance to go after the world title because she's been a world champion before multiple times, but I'm honestly hoping we're leaning into that, do something with Alexa Bliss, don't waste her, don't have her doing any stupid shit. I did hear like the original plan was she was supposed to come back on Raw like that following week after after the Raw premiere. So I'm wondering if that's still in the cards or if she is going to be on SmackDown. I would assume if she is going to have a potential program with Liv, you would keep her on Raw. We really don't know like what's currently going on with the Wyatt Six, but as of now, until they figure that out, I would honestly prefer Alexa Bliss just to do her thing until they figure out exactly what they want to do. So that was really nice. Another thing that I happen to be I really liked in this match as well was that Julia and Io Sky stare down, because that's something that I had a feeling we were going to get heading into this match, because that's a potential WrestleMania match, that's a potential SummerSlam match. That's something I would honestly personally do at either one of those shows. No other ones, honestly. It's either SummerSlam or WrestleMania for that match. So I liked how they had that stare down. So that was really nice because, again, Julia's going to be up there in the cards, like how Asuka was and how Io was and everything once she has her time to shine there. And I like how Stephanie was being shown off there too, where, she's one of those girls you don't want to fuck with. So Fallon Henley, count your days, because you're going to be losing that North American title on Vengeance Day. But
Yeah, you
again, that was great for me. I also didn't mind Trish coming back only because I feel like we might be getting what I talked about on the show a little bit ago, where we might potentially see her and Tiffany at the Elimination Chamber for Tiffany's title on the line, because it is taking place in Toronto, Canada, where Trish Stratus is from. And I did see stuff online saying that there is creative plans in the cards for Trish Stratus. And obviously she also had merch come out, so that's also a sign as well that she's going to be sticking around for a little bit. And they teased that at last year's Money in the Bank, so I mean, it only makes sense if things come full circle there. So that's a plus in my book, because I've always been a Trish Stratus fan ever since I was a little kid. I mean, before all these other girls came into the picture, Trish Stratus was like my favorite girl all those years ago, before Bailey and all of them came into the picture. I want to give some props to Liv Morgan in this match, because Liv Morgan, I really liked how she helped out Lyra when it came to that little wardrobe malfunction that Lyra was having, where she kicked her in the corner so the ref and Lyra could figure out the whole entire situation. So it shows that she's looking out for her colleagues. So I really do appreciate that, because obviously that came out of the blue. It wasn't planned. I also want to give props to Lyra's outfit. She looked absolutely gorgeous tonight. Lyra's a very beautiful woman. Obviously, I'm not saying that in a weird way, but she is, you know, she plays the part, and she looks like a true champion. And
I will say that
I
do feel bad for her having like a wardrobe malfunction. I do feel bad that she had to,
definitely
retouch or fix herself.
Yeah,
but it makes.
But I'm happy Liv did that.
Yeah, I'm glad they did what they did. Push her off the camera, so the two refs that went to help her, got it fixed, and then she got back in part of the spot. So I appreciate it. Lyra, I was like, oh no, like I saw that, like, come on, girl, I hope you get it fixed, and I'm glad she did. Like, I can't imagine the anxiety or the embarrassing of what if moment could happen.
I was surprised there's no Becky tonight.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, no Becky tonight.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. And then also with like the whole Liv thing, I like how the company uses her in like these early spots, because she's pretty much become like the go-to Iron Woman for these matches. I mean, I know she didn't have the most time in this year's match, but like they always put her very early in this match. Like, I mean, she was number 2 this year again. Like she was really early. So it's like, kudos to you for doing all that. And like, it's showing too that they're trusting her to be kind of a ring general in a way. Like, she's not really like commanding people. I guess maybe just like a safe hand to be in there to just make sure, like you had pointed out with like the wardrobe malfunction and all that. But like, she's in there to just kind of guide people as well. Because like when you look at the names that came in fairly early, like you had Io and Liv to start, Roxanne and Lyra, who are still fairly green, at least on the main roster. Well, especially Roxanne. I mean, kudos to her. She made the final 2.
By the way,
freaking called that Iron Woman. I was happy about that.
Yeah,
one.
I'm happy for that too, because she made history there, and that also shows how much faith they have in Roxanne moving forward when she's officially on the main roster, because that's another person that's going to be a key player. I mean, that's why I mentioned before, you had that moment with Stephanie, Julia, and Roxanne against the Vets. So that right there shows you that, I mean, you also got to keep in mind too, they put certain talent in this Rumble. They could have chose any other talent in NXT. They could have chose Saruka. They could have chose like Kalani or Ren Sinclair, whoever else was down there. But they chose these specific individuals because these are the ones that they could see really leading the charge once they're officially on the main roster. And, Roxanne coming up to the main roster, either it's after this match that she has a Julianne Bailey, or maybe past Stand and Deliver, because it seems like they're teasing a little split between her and Cora Jade. So it's like, it makes me think that, with this record that they have in mind with her, that she's going to be treated very well, because back then, all those years ago, when people came up with NXT and they had a lot of highs there, when they came up to NXT, there was like a lot of lows on the main roster. So I do appreciate that they're actually taking care of the NXT talent, because again, these are the people that are going to be here in the future, and that's what matters the most, is building the future which is
Yeah.
I'm bringing that up for a reason because we're gonna dive into that little
yeah.
spicy thing
Don't
soon.
worry.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is all the setup. This is our
Oh, yeah.
Otis setup right now for what's
Hmm.
about to happen here. Yes, I'm still on the damn One Piece shit. I don't give a crap. But like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I do have to say this too. It's just like I look at this, like the first third of this match and these entrants. It's a lot of new names, a lot of young talent
Mhm.
that are mixed in with some of these like older people, and just like it's nice to see that not only are they like bringing in this new talent to kind of get their get their licks in and get their reps in and all that stuff, but like the people that they choose to kind of lead that, you had Io and Liv, some of the older ones like Chelsea Green, for example. She was actually in the match
Well,
a
she was
lot
really
longer
good.
than she had been in the past. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it just kind of goes to show like the amount of trust that they have in these stars
Mhm.
to kind of help the next generation. And like once Bianca comes out, then we start kind of getting like that mid card kind of scene.
Yeah.
Again, we get Jada Parker. I was not expecting Jada Parker to come out.
Yeah, I'm glad she came
from
out.
NXT.
Lash Legend
me
was a
too.
nice shout too.
Both of them ladies was great. Once Last Legend came out, I believe after the Women's Royal Rumble, I even told Watkins during the sidecast, I said, hey, if we got Last Legend, most likely we may get Trick Williams, whoop that trick type of chant.
Damn,
we
I
didn't even
wish.
get that. So
I'm
that is
sad.
that's very shocking. But congrats to Last Legend to get this opportunity and be having such a great showcase. Like John brought up, the NXT ladies, great choices. Like Watkins said, Jada Parker was a choice I didn't expect, but to see her get up there, it shows that how much believable they are. Last Legend, Jada Parker, such great choices. As Stephanie Valker, I thought another one would have been nice, Lola Vice, but I assume they didn't have enough time or enough person. Who would you switch out? So for the choices we got, great choices so far from the NXT ladies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree,
And
100%.
And we've got all this set up right now. I will say this. I despised the spot where Nia eliminated like 6 or 8
No,
people,
I agree. That
or
pissed me
however
off.
many it was.
That pissed me
Like,
off.
because first of all, it
Booking
looked
wise.
very clunky. Yeah, it looked kind of clunky. And then like 2 of the names in there just kind of it didn't sit right with me. It was Bianca and Io. Not only because Io was like basically the team's choice to win, but like it was just weird because like she was still hanging on the edge, like she was basically still in the ring and all that, but then she just leaves and gets eliminated. And then Bianca, like that's just like that was odd too, but she did have
I'll
one
tell you
moment
this
in
right
this
now.
match.
Nia Jax eliminate Zelina Vega, Stephanie Valker, Trish Stratus,
Bianca
Raquel
come out.
Rodriguez,
Oh, 10.
Io Sky, and who else was it?
Are you looking at the people she eliminated?
And Nikki Bella as well. So it was all those 6 ladies at once.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see it right here.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it on with the wiki thing. It says Io Sky, Liv Morgan. If I scroll down a little bit, Bianca Belair, scroll down a little bit more. Naomi, scroll down a little bit more. Stephanie Becker, Trish Stratus, Raquel, and Nikki Bella. Yeah. I mean,
That's a whole
Yeah.
list. That's a whole list. Like, look, because of Raquel, I'm not like if
Yeah.
she's gonna be the security guard for Liv
that's the
Morgan,
one
it should have
Vash is
been.
upset about the most.
No, I'm not. No.
I'm
Your
joking.
favorite,
I'm
pulling your leg.
WWE superstar.
But
was
Raquel, I do
eliminated.
question that. I do question that because Raquel, they
Mhm.
should have placed her much sooner. Because if you was gonna play to the character, the role of her being security guard, it should have come out much sooner. And the Zelina Vega, she had a good showcase, very short time, but she had a good showcase. Great gear, anime reference that I still couldn't even recognize at all. When it comes to, I want to also shout out to Maxine Dupree. She also did great as well, much better than expected. She took out Ivina, and then she also yeeted herself. I forgot who she also took out from. Piper Niven. Piper Niven was there a lot longer than expected. She had a great showcase. I want to give a big shout out for Piper Niven. She was better. She also, took out her partner, Chelsea Green. For the
Yeah.
story, makes sense.
But we got to talk about the elephant in the room. We've done enough Oda setup. We've
Wait,
we've even done
right
Kubo
before,
setup.
I have the Kubo setup. I have one last thing I was gonna bring up, and the perfect timing for
Mm-hmm.
right what Watkins wants to get
Mm-hmm.
into, and just
Mm-hmm.
get into the biggest rant. Alexa Bliss is one thing I didn't expect to actually get, but as who myself, I'm not saying I'm a crazy fan, but I've seen her over the years, and even when I wasn't into WWE or pro wrestling during the time in my hiatus, it was great to see her. I had a great reaction. I was really proud to see her, and she had a great showcase. I can't wait to, I believe what Drop said earlier, that we're gonna have a feud of Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss. If that happens, can we see
Hopefully.
how the programming will come about and
Yeah.
where will she be if she gets into the
Yeah.
Wyatt Six? And other than that,
Yeah, there's
uh,
only one last thing I want to mention before we dive into the other thing.
go ahead.
Jade Cargill.
Yeah, no Jade
Yeah,
Cargill,
I'm a bit
which
confused.
is
I'm a bit confused on that.
interesting.
Yeah, because there was a part of
I don't
me
know
heading
why.
in because there's a part of me heading into this match which I expected her to return. Because I
Yeah.
know we've been
Mhm.
talking about for weeks, okay, what's the follow up
did.
with this whole entire thing with Bianca and Naomi, like who attacked Jade. So I thought we were going to get that answer in the Rumble where you have Bianca and Naomi there. Because when I saw them in the
Mhm.
match, I'm like, okay, Jade's going to be coming out sooner or later. And you could have easily swapped out the spot with like one of the girls there. But I'm not saying they don't deserve to be in there, but if you wanted to
Out of
throw
everyone, it's Candice LeRae. My apologies, Candice LeRae, but out of everyone right
Yeah,
there,
so
out
it's
of
like
the 30 women, it would
yeah,
be
so it's
the
like
switch.
I was expecting her to thrown in there, and then you would get that whole moment between Bianca and Naomi because the Royal Rumble is always about building stories leading into Mania and
Mhm.
everything. So I thought she was gonna show up. We would find the attacker, and then we would build off of that post Rumble. But we didn't get any sign of her at all, and also no AJ Lee, which I'm not gonna really talk about that much because
Yeah.
it is what it is. But yeah, well, we could definitely dive
I think
into.
I think too we did get a little bit of a tease of a heel Bianca because
Oh
there
yeah,
was the moment with
Yeah.
like Naomi and
yeah,
Jordan Grace, and
it's
then
true.
Bianca just grabs Jordan by the hair and just like, what are we doing?
Oh.
She's not your friend. I'm your friend. You
Oh.
know, so like
Yeah.
we might have gotten a tease of heel Bianca there, so that was cool.
Oh wait, was
Maybe
it Jordan or Naomi? I thought she pulled Naomi's hair, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
no,
she pulled
no, she
Jordan's
put
hair.
Jordan's
Okay.
hair.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That see, if
So
it is heading down that direction, I'm all for it because I mean,
Mhm.
especially if Bianca and Rhea's in the cards for next year, then I would say to definitely have it be a heel Bianca because new change in character. Not saying she's bad by any means, but a new change for character would be really nice. But
yeah.
yeah.
One thing,
So
We've danced around it. We've
one
danced
thing,
around it long enough. We need it. We need to
my
just
last
get
thing I was
into
gonna
it.
say is
I am
Trish
going to
Stratus
come up
was
to New
really dope.
York.
Look,
yeah.
my last thing was dope to see, and she did better than expected. I didn't expect her to actually do much, and it's because Toronto is actually next month. They do bring a good point that we can have a match for next month of Toronto because Trish Stratus that's where she's from, and
Oh yeah.
she actually surprised me. I didn't expect her to last that long and actually do some great programming with Nia Jax and others. That's my last comment. I've seen the rundown of everyone else. Now the short floor is yours, Watkins. I'm gonna do some editing while you guys go
Yeah.
and do your rant, and then you can transition to me.
Wait,
Go. I'm done. I'm quiet.
Yeah, and like I said, ahead of time in advance in the
Vince
week,
is
if you want to
undefeated.
use this as like a little highlight video, go all for it. But
Yes, of
it
course.
all depends who wants to go first, or you want to just bounce back and
La-
forth because we don't really need to
la-
take
ladies
turns.
and gentlemen, boys and girls, ignorant children of the aisles. The match was fine. That all we said was all the positive stuff. Like everything else very positive. There might be a few nitpicks here, like, oh, a lot of top rope moves. Why didn't you guys just rush over and throw them out? Could have gotten rid of a lot of people that way. But, that's nitpicking and all that. That's just being nitpicking. No, there's one big, massive, very shiny, red, blonde haired stain on this whole thing. Miss number 27 in the match, Little Miss Charlotte Flair, coming in to win the Royal Rumble for a second time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there was a comment made like a month or two ago. I don't remember. It was one of the shows we did where it's just like, okay, you know what? I could see the company giving Charlotte the second win because we should start having the multiple women winning, history being made,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, cool. Are you gonna throw Charlotte that bone? Are you guys actually gonna throw Charlotte that bone?
Oh,
And they actually threw Charlotte that bone, and it's like,
we're getting viewers increased.
why? Why are we throwing Charlotte that bone? Charlotte Flair has. This is nothing against her, because I am a fan of Charlotte. I
Mhm.
do like her in ring work. You know, some matches are better than others. They really are. You know, and you could say that about anybody, but I do like her work. It's her booking that always is a question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Drop. I know you lived through 2016
Mm-hmm.
with the whole hot potato with the women's
yeah.
title between
Yeah.
her and Sasha, which is why she's 14-time women's champion. Cool, neat, awesome. It's like,
Yep.
I despise that. It's part of the reason why I don't like Sasha, but that's a whole other freaking argument in itself.
Mm.
But it's like, we're gonna give Charlotte her big win. Okay. The fear now is, first of all, who does she pick? She could pick Rhea, and we can get Charlotte Rhea 3. You know what? Fine. If they're good, they can cook. They can cook a match. They can cook a really good match. Cool, neat, awesome, fan flippin-tastic. Have Rhea go over there because mommy should be always on top. But if she does choose Tiffy, which is where things seem to be going, there's the biggest fear of her winning because lol Charlotte wins, and that's on the same levels of lol Cena wins when that was at its peak, at its top peakiness of why are we doing this? This this just felt wrong. It really felt wrong, you know? And it really started, honestly, the fear started when EO came out at number 1.
Mm.
Like that's when it first started. Like again, go back to our live stream. As soon as EO's music hit for number 1, I started being like, what? Nani the fuck? What are we doing?
Mm.
No. Is she gonna go coast to coast? Because that'd be cool. That'd be neat. I
Mhm.
mean, kind of a repeat of what we've been doing with the past, like, 2 other women's Royal Rumbles, but you know, fine, whatever. If we're gonna give EO that big accolade, fine, cool, neat, awesome.
Mhm.
But then she gets eliminated in a big old group of people by Nia Jax. So pluck Nia Jax. She can also go eat a big old bag of poo.
Mhm.
Flaming poo at that. And then you have Charlotte. You fucking Charlotte win. You fucking Charlotte win.
Mm.
Like, I just
Actually,
why? Why?
continue
she needs
that-
to lose to Tiffy.
Continue that
She
rant.
needs
I'm
to
gonna
lose to Tiffy.
continue that rant. I'm gonna change my shirt real quick to fit this.
That is perfectly fine, because if this leads to Charlotte winning, then truly and honestly, what are we doing? You know, like, Charlotte's at the point of her career where she needs to start giving back. And like you've heard us say countless times on this show, Becky, for example, continues to give back to the women's division. Bayley consistently gives back to the women's division. And like, Bianca is starting to reach that time now where she's going to be giving back to the women's division for the future and all that. Charlotte, she goes into business for herself. Whether it's in character, out of character, most of the times it's out of character because she is a Flair after all. But it's like, I don't want Charlotte to have a title again, you know? And yeah, the other night it's just like, oh yeah, she could have it if he could chase it, all that. That had to deal with Charlotte not winning the Rumble.
Hmm.
But Charlotte's won the Rumble now. She's going to WrestleMania to face for a title.
Mhm.
She just needs to lose it. She needs to lose the match, whoever she chooses, you know. And part of me's kind of hoping they pivot to Rhea, so then Rhea can just beat her ass again.
Yeah, Because at that point, it shouldn't
'Cause
even be a challenge.
Yeah, it just it scares me because like Tiffy just got the title, and I know she has to deal with Nia and all that, and hopefully she can deal with Nia quick.
Yeah.
But like, it's just the fear's there, man. The fear is there that Charlotte is gonna go into business for herself and take that title from Tiffany and just completely and utterly just block anybody from growing and all that. But like, that's more of a neutral stance for me. It's more of a neutral stance because like, yeah, I'm not a fan of it, but I'm always the kind of person that's just like, okay, not a fan of it now. Maybe I can come around to it depending on how they do it. But like, it doesn't sit right with me. Not at all, because like there's so many other women in this match that could have won. Sure, Roxanne was final too. She probably wouldn't have or shouldn't have won the Rumble anyways.
Yeah.
But she could have been a great choice for it.
Oh, yeah.
Io, yeah, she had a big title match last year against the winner of the Royal Rumble. But like having her go coast to coast, we had the tease with her and Rhea for WrestleMania for the title, like just for the title in general. So like you could have done that. I mean, looking at these two, like part of me would have accepted Trish, to be honest. Because it's just like, oh yeah, legend getting it. You know, Trish has done so much for the business. Why not throw her a bone and all that? You know, fine, whatever. Anybody but Charlotte would have been
Bianca
fine.
too, to be honest.
Bianca too. Like she could have made the history. She could have been the other person to win a Rumble twice in her lifetime.
Dark
Like,
Horse,
she could
Jordan
have done it.
Grace.
Jordan Grace, like they're just so
Look, all I'm gonna
many
say,
names.
I was ready during the sidecast, during the reaction with Watkins. I said, yo, Roxanne is about to get the Royal Rumble win. If she does, I'm here for it. They're gonna put that rocket to her, fly her to the moon for the main
That would
event
be cool.
already. She like that would have been amazing. Like that, wow, they believe in her. Roxanne versus Tiffany or Roxanne versus Rhea. Like that would have been amazing. And like Rhea lost it to Roxanne and or some type of build. I'm okay with that. But for like my quick 2 cents, Charlotte, I have not seen your damn reign over the past 9 years because I missed out maybe the last 6 years of your career. I've only seen maybe the first two of 2019 to 2015 or 20 but I only saw clips because I didn't even watch NXT, so I didn't even know the black and gold days and all those or level up days. When it comes to right now, I've only seen the past 2 years. So your 9 year reign, I've only seen, but I heard of it. I'm not a fan. You know why? Because when I heard that you have won the title back to back, and you count that as you winning championships at the end of the day, just with all due respect, you have only won your titles because you are a Ric Flair's daughter. That's the bottom line, and that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. And that's the sad truth, and I'm sorry.
Sorry, I just saw the
Yeah,
chat.
I just
Oh,
responded to it.
coach.
Yeah, I
I'm
just
not gonna
responded to it.
repeat it.
I'm not
Just
either.
because of it, but good. I might do that in 2K25. I'm not gonna lie. That
Yeah,
I might just make a title just for that.
Yeah, you could too. You got access
Yeah,
to it.
exactly.
That would be possible. But when it comes to Charlotte Flair, I'm not a big fan. I missed out most of your reigns, and I'm sorry. I'm not here for it. Even during the press conference, I didn't get to pay attention too much, but what I heard wasn't a fan. You sounded too much egotistic. As a fan, even a critic, even when I meet you in person, you are a great person to talk to. I know I will have a pleasure to speak to you and, pick your brain of the business side, the WWE side. But it comes to your booking, it sucks that you're not built up as what you're meant to be. You're treated as the nepotism, as you being the Ric Flair's daughter and the woo. You had a beautiful entrance, a beautiful ring. I understand you had a little malfunction with the buckle, you broke it and everything. Great to see you. You want to dazzle up your bracelet of your knee. Cool, that's cool for you. But why the flying fuck did you have to win though and take the opportunity? It made it so predictable that we knew what was coming, and that was the fun of it. It was still a great show, one of the best women's Royal Rumble, even though I've only seen two of them. But one of the best ones I've seen, and I'm very proud of it. But Charlotte, you winning, I really rather have you win in a Elimination Chamber. But now that you won Royal Rumble, it's like we know you're gonna win go against Tiffany, but I don't want you to win against Tiffany. Tiffany should go over you, and that's how it should go. But hey, like you said in the press conference, you always got the gold, right? Fuck that shit. Wait for later, my G. But drop, I spoke too much. Well, talk to us. What is your thoughts? Drop on this knowledge of hatred.
Want to tag me in?
Yes, tag.
All right.
Tag.
So here's the thing. I
Drop
warned
this walk is here.
So I warned the guys earlier this week that I had this strange feeling. It's basically one of those feelings where it's like you can sense something's coming. You don't want to believe it, but you sense it's coming. I had a feeling going into this show that this was going to be the result because we were getting a lot of these vignettes. And I thought it was done by design, maybe to throw us off, like CM Punk, because I was one of those people that thought CM Punk was going to win. So I thought it was getting one of those situations where it's like you put CM Punk in our face, but he doesn't actually win, like he didn't win tonight. But that was the exact opposite with what happened with Charlotte Flair. And my biggest issue with Charlotte Flair is the booking. So what you're about to hear from me, it's not attacking her as a person. It's just the booking. So here we go. The main reason why I'm not a big fan of all of this stuff that had transpired tonight is because there's a lot of women that have been busting their ass off ever since Charlotte left to really build themselves up. Look at Bayley, for example, somebody that's been taking loss after loss after loss to rebuild that division to where it was. Because if it wasn't for Bayley, Io and Dakota Kai wouldn't be at the level that they're at now. So Bayley, when she came back at that SummerSlam, she brought back Io Sky and Dakota Kai because she believed in them and she saw a future for both of those ladies. So the fact that Bayley was rewarded last year at the Rumble, it felt earned because she's a selfless person, and I was completely happy that, you know, when you bust your ass off and you help out the company, everything along the lines of that, that's a nice reward. And you also got people like Liv Morgan, who reinvented herself, brought herself to levels that she hasn't been to yet. Io Sky taking that momentum from Bayley and building herself to where she's at. All these upcoming stars like Roxanne Perez, Lash Legend, Jada Parker, Stephanie Vaquer, and Julia showing the future of the company. And then you have other people in here like Bianca Belair, who is a fan favorite and everybody loves, helping build the future as well, which is why she worked with Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend late this past Tuesday to show the future of those ladies, which is why Lash Legend was a part of this to begin with. And you have Jordan Grace, new face in the company, probably going to be doing good business with her. Alexa Bliss, a veteran that came out around the same time Charlotte Flair is. They're familiar for one another. So it's like having her come back, she'll be doing what she needs to do to propel herself and to propel others. The biggest issue with Charlotte Flair winning this Rumble is the fact that Charlotte comes back from her return. She has these vignettes and wins. So look at what John Cena did tonight. John Cena, this is his last year. The last year of Cena. The last time is now. If John Cena really wanted to, he could have went into business himself. He could have went over Jey Uso. He could have won the Royal Rumble. You could have gave him that special treatment because it's his last year. So maybe you wanted to do something special with John Cena. Why not give John Cena his third Royal Rumble win? Why not give him that lottery ticket to WrestleMania? They could have easily done that. But you look at John Cena, and he's mentioned it several times in interviews, that he's there to build the future. And he doesn't necessarily want 17 or anything like that. We obviously know we're going to get that. But John Cena's there to build the company. And we've seen what he's done over the years to build a lot of these stars now. Look at that great match that he had with AJ Styles. That year, AJ Styles came back in 26. He came to the company 2016. Look at that program that John Cena had of AJ Styles to propel AJ Styles to where he's at now. AJ Styles has always been a legend in the game, but that program of John Cena brought him to new levels that he hasn't been before. The issue with Charlotte Flair is you look at when she won the Royal Rumble the first time, you would think that she would enter, she thinks she would go after a Raw title or a SmackDown title. She decides to go after an NXT championship that Rhea Ripley had, which was the whole story leading into WrestleMania 39 for Rhea Ripley to get her revenge. Because she went after the NXT championship that year from a developmental talent, and she went over at Mania. Why? Why is that needed? Because at that point, you're above that title. You don't need it anymore. That's something for those ladies to fight over in NXT to help build their brand when they come on the main roster. And then Royal Rumble 2022, you come out with the SmackDown Championship. Why do you need to take part in that match if you're already a champion? That doesn't make sense in the slightest, because it's like, we're going to go to Mania and face yourself? Like, what was the whole point of that booking decision? Makes no sense at all. Main point I'm trying to get here is that I do believe there's politics in wrestling when it comes to certain people that want to do business for themselves or want to work with a certain person, and they'll say yes and no to things, which is fine if you want to stand in business with certain things. But we all know the direction's Tiffany, and knowing how all these reports are coming out, which I'm going to try taking them with a grain of salt nowadays when it comes to specific things, but we obviously know the match is her and Tiffany because her vignettes were showing quite a bit on SmackDown whenever Tiffany's about to come out and cut a promo. Tiffany is supposed to be the future, just like Roxanne Perez, just like Julia, just like Stephanie Vecker, just like Jada Parker, just like Last Legend, just like Sol Ruka, just like Zarya, all these upcoming talent coming up from NXT. Tiffany Stratton is the future. She won that title. She outsmarted Nia Jax to get to where she is. And then you have this whole top girl character, which could have easily headed down a different direction, where you could have easily played out a story where it's like, okay, you make your big return at the Rumble, and you come so close to win, but you lose, and then you come out on SmackDown, you cut a promo, you vent out your frustration, and that's how you build to the whole top girl story, where you're like, okay, this is where I need to be, this is where I've been all these years, this is why I'm a 14-time champion, because I need to be in that picture. You build off of the loss, just like our friend John Cena. He's building off the loss. It's the chase for 17 with him. You could have easily built a story, and you could have connected that with Tiffany to prove who's the top girl in the division now. Is it Tiffany Stratton or is it Charlotte Flair? So you could have tied your story with Tiffany Stratton to prove who's really on top there. So my main issue with this is you have Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton become a thing at WrestleMania, and you have Charlotte Flair go over. What do you have to prove to Tiffany Stratton? And God fucking damn it, it sucks, because the reason why Tiffany Stratton got into wrestling is because of Charlotte Flair. That was her idol. Just like a lot of people admired John Cena and Undertaker and Randy Orton and all these other people to bring them into pro wrestling. God fucking damn it that creative, keep in mind, don't clip this and put it out of context like a lot of you idiots do online sometimes, but it's like, God fucking damn it that you have that famous saying, you don't know how your idols are until you really meet them. God, imagine you got Charlotte going over in that match. And what's the next step after that? The chase for Tiffany. What chase? What chase does Tiffany need to prove there? The chase to get back at Charlotte at SummerSlam. It's a 2-night event. We could do a program between Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. We got to get that chase. We got to prove why Tiffany can beat Charlotte. Isn't that the whole point of the Mania match? Next gen versus old gen? Putting the old gen down, proving who's on the Tiffy top? That doesn't really make sense to me. And then the whole thing that Vash mentioned as well, which I appreciated Vash brought up that interview, because it shows the characteristics that they built her character around. And this is why a lot of people feel this certain way towards Charlotte Flair, because of the creative. It's not the character, because Charlotte's great. She deserves the accolades that she gets. I don't really care about the whole 2-time Royal Rumble thing, because that was eventually going to happen regardless. It was Bianca, Bayley, Becky, Charlotte, whoever, Asuka, whoever. It's just, it's lazy, very lazy booking. like John Cena cut it in his promo, that lottery ticket to get to Mania like that. You took the lottery ticket, just the easy way out. I would have loved a better story where I could head into this event tonight and not get a predictable outcome. Because the Jey Uso thing caught all of us off guard. Didn't expect it. A lot of us thought Cena, a lot of us thought Punk, a lot of us thought potentially Seth. But that result with the men's threw us off guard. This is predictable. It's just lazy booking where it's like, okay, she wins a Rumble, she chooses Tiffany, she goes over Tiffany, and then yada yada this, yada that. I'm not a fan of that, because it's like, why am I going to be a part of the ride if I already know the result towards the end? And maybe I'm wrong, and Tiffany does go over, but just based on what we've grown accustomed to over these years, and you would honestly hope in the new regime, because Triple H is a long gamer, he would want to head down a certain direction rather than just Rumble, Mania, Championship,
Yeah.
and then you hold it until
And, like-
next year for someone else.
Yeah, like that's just the thing. It's just like, I hate it. I don't like that they threw Charlotte this bone. I think that's the biggest thing with me, because
Mhm.
again, like you had mentioned, there were other women that could have gotten that second Royal Rumble thing. Plenty of others that more deservedly. I'll go out and say it. Like,
Yeah.
I especially with a lot of the work that they put in, because like with Charlotte, the last time she was in the company, like before she got injured and all that, there were times where I'm just like, all right, are you kind of phoning it in right now? Like, you don't really seem into this match at the moment,
Yeah.
and then she got injured, and it's like, all right, well, now you're gone for like a year and a half. Okay, what are you going to be doing when you come back? And like, that's the thing, is like, she at least looked good tonight. It's just like, it's just, again, there were other people that could have gotten that spot. There are other people you could have thrown that bone to that kind of deserved it more. And like, and that's the thing, like, if we were doing the chase with Tiffy, like I had mentioned, like the whole chase with Tiffy, blah blah blah, that should be towards a Mania thing, not like a SummerSlam thing. So it's just like,
Mhm.
Charlotte takes the title from Tiffy, like, I don't know, some random SmackDown. Then Tiffy has to be like, all right, well, bet, let me win the Elimination Chamber. Bet, let me beat you at, Mania, because now it's, maybe some sort of cheating happened or whatever. Either way, it would have to end at Mania, not having Charlotte go over at Mania and then SummerSlam, because just like what you said, that's dumb. Like, that is not how you build a star at all, and so, like, that's why, like, Tiffany has to go over at Mania. That's where the end point here needs to be, is her going over at Mania, Charlotte being put down a peg a little bit, and then we could just move on from there. And who knows, maybe we are getting swerved and we do get Rhea Charlotte 3, which, even better, have Rhea absolutely batter her then,
Mm.
Like, because Rhea's putting on some of the best work of her career too
Yeah.
right now. So like, she should not be. I mean, again, granted, you could put Charlotte on that pedestal again, and be like, oh, she's the top girl, blah blah blah, all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, you could book it like that, but it's like, we as the consumer know that these women put in so much more work. And you could I'm sure people could throw the argument where it's just like, oh, well, she had to work hard to, overcome her injury, blah, 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 and all that stuff. It's like, I would get that argument. I would understand that argument. However, again, go back to what I said before then, where it's like some of her work before she got injured just felt like she was phoning it in, and felt like she didn't even want to do a match to begin with. Like, I mean, I look at her match, the very match that she got injured in against Asuka, and she didn't even look like she wanted to face Asuka that night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just, I don't know. I know it needs to lead to whoever she faces, more than likely Tiffany. It needs to lead to them beating Charlotte.
Yeah, because
And that's just it.
yeah, because there's a lot of times where you could say, oh well, if she beats Tiffany will get a good showcase there, which I guess could be true, but at the same time, to me, that kind of sounds like a burial. It kind of sounds
Yeah.
like a burial because it only works with certain people, especially with the kind of story that you're telling. So it's like
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm really the biggest fan of like having Tiffany have this reign for 3 months and then lose it, drop it, do a chasing.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping that's not the story. And I'm also hoping we're not gonna keep doing this repeat that every Rumble winner needs to win a title, because if I were to choose one person that should get a title win at Mania, it's probably Jey Uso. And I'm gonna lean
Mhm.
probably towards him and Gunther to wrap that up or whatever. So if I were to choose one person where you had one person win, one person lose, I would probably go with Jey Uso winning that world title, and I would
Mhm.
have Charlotte win. So I'm honestly hoping this is a work. I'm honestly hoping this is a swerve where the predictable outcome we usually expect for her doesn't happen, because if she does go over in that match and she does become the women's champion, I'm not going to be a fan of it. I'm sorry. I can't really say let's play the long game with this. I don't know what the long game is, because it's like,
Yeah.
oh well, Tiffany can have another reign. This isn't going to be her last title. Obviously, it's not. But
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
what? But it's like what? Why?
Yeah.
What's the point of that? You don't see Becky doing
Yeah.
this, because I know for a damn fact, and obviously this isn't set in stone. But if Becky gets Lyra at Mania, I do not expect Becky to get that title, because she's trying to build up that division. Just like you mentioned before with Bayley and Bianca. Bianca's starting to work with a lot of the young chicks. Bianca's even putting people over. So it's like,
Mhm.
and the thing is, guys, it's like we've grown accustomed to the whole Charlotte Flair train over the years. That's why a lot of people make memes of Charlotte, where you have like the Money in the Bank contract, where you have people qualified to participate in that match and win the Money in the Bank. That's why a lot of people make the memes where they say Charlotte in
Mhm.
the Bank, because Charlotte in the Bank, the whole meaning behind that is whenever she wants a wrestling match, she gets it. Just like how she came back that one SmackDown and she had a match with Ronda Rousey and she won it, which at the time I didn't really care because you needed to end that fucking reign. But
Yeah.
that's why a lot of people make fun of it, because it's like it's almost like she can't be away from the title picture. Like there's no other character outside of the title. And I understand the whole royalty thing, the queen, yada yada this, yada that. But it's like, come on, you got to do something like a little different. I mean, if you could do business with Rhea and help elevate her stardom to where she is, you should be able to do the same with Tiffany. Like I'm honestly hoping we're playing into this and then we get a better outcome. So once me and the guys hop on our WrestleMania stream and we talk about the show, things would head down a better direction. That's what I'm honestly hoping for. If not, I'm not going to be a happy camper about that.
Yeah. So again, Tiffany just needs to go over. That's the long and short of it.
Yeah,
She just needs to go over at Mania and all that. This just leaves a really bad taste in a lot of our mouths. And from what it seems like from like a lot of people reacting to it, seems like a lot of people are in kind of in the same boat.
hmm
I don't know if you guys in the chat
Yeah,
are not in the same boat. Go ahead and let us know. You
yeah,
know, maybe you could help kind of ease the blow for some of us.
yeah.
But yeah,
And keep in mind, guys, like even if you clip this, you put it online, you do this or that, which it's
there
unfortunate.
you
It's unfortunate I have to say this, but I'm still gonna say it anyway, just to stick up for our family on here, because I don't want our name being tarnished over people online. What we say
yeah.
right here, and I'm sticking up for these guys because I care about them and I look at them as brothers when we do this podcast together. What we say on here in these reviews, it's just us voicing our opinion when it comes to how we feel about the direction of the creative. It's not us attacking the characters. It's not us attacking Ashley. It's not us attacking Rebecca,
Mm.
Charlotte Flair's real name, Becky's real name. It's not us attacking the individuals. It's us talking about the creative direction of Triple H. So no hate towards the performers or anything. It's just the overall creative direction, which you should grow accustomed to, because it happens with music, it happens with video games, it happens with TV shows, movies, books, etc. Fucking toothpaste. The toothpaste fucking sucks. Doesn't help whiten your teeth. You get reviews on like critiquing things is just a part of life. So just keep in mind whatever we say here, it's just the creative direction. Don't take things out of context, because we love the WWE. We love wrestling, and this is why we're saying things like this, because we want the best for the product.
Exactly.
I 100% agree.
And
I would love to back that up that this is a beautiful rant of roughly 25 minutes of a rant, and that shows like we care for the product.
Yeah,
You'll
we have-
see us crash out
We're the
in WrestleMania
consumers.
when it comes
Yeah.
to this weekend. We are the consumers. We're the critics. We are the fans.
Yeah.
We always give you all sides. Like as a fan, I didn't want Charlotte Flair to win. Even as a critic, even like I'm gonna be honest about that. But as a fan, I would have loved to have seen Roxanne win. I would have loved to see Io win. As a critic, I would love to see Io win. She was the number one person to go. But Drop said it perfectly. Like we're here to give you our opinions and everything. And the clips I post is always just to be there public to the fans and audience. Always check out the VOD. But Drop, what is it that you have one last thing to say?
So I want to address something to jump in Jeff Farmer in the chat. We're not saying any ill will towards Jey Uso. So I'm not sure.
Oh no, there's a lot more to that.
Yeah,
we will
so
break it down to Jey Uso because there's a lot more to that. There's not only about the money and the merch.
Oh, yeah.
There's way more than that.
Don't worry.
Yeah, because like we have nothing against the whole Jey Uso winning the. Or at least to me, I'm completely okay with it.
Started talking about the men's rumble.
We haven't even started talking about the
we're
men's
still on the
rumble.
women's rumble.
But don't worry,
Like
we will. We'll
Yeah, but
transition right now. We're about to. Don't worry, chat.
Yeah, but it's like we're not saying anything about Jey Uso here. We're not shitting on Jey Uso or anything. So if there's other people online saying that, that's them. So please don't lump us in that category because we haven't even touched on that. And just to give you a little spoiler here, I'm not really upset about the whole Jey Uso win because I understand the whole idea behind it. He's making a lot of money. It's a business move, and it's a shock result, which is something I honestly wish we would have more in wrestling instead of the predictable. That's why you had me and Watkins go. That's why me and Watkins went on a little rant with Charlotte because comparing to a unpredictable outcome with Jey Uso, you got a predictable outcome with Charlotte.
Yeah. A bad predictable outcome because sometimes being predictable is fine, you know. Like, I mean, you look at the ladder match tonight, for example. That was predictable, but hey, a hell of a match, though.
Yeah, it was a really great match. I like that match. Got some color in it too, which is what we talked about on the show. I'm glad about that.
Exactly.
I will say my last thoughts. I was also saying my last thoughts about the Women's Royal Rumble. Great event. One that I had a great time to do a PoE coverage with Watkins and give our first sidecast on the PoE event.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great experience. Our first one to
time.
25. Maybe a next one. Elimination Chamber. Who knows? Only time and scheduling will tell. And honestly, this being my second Royal Rumble, I definitely enjoyed this of the women's, and I was very happy enjoying this one. Can't wait for the next one. Wait, sorry, I take that back. I cannot. I don't want to wait for the next one. I'd rather skip that one over for next year. But you'll see why when the time gets closer and where the location is. You can read between the lines of what that means. And other than that, I can't wait to see what the story and the feuds build up now for individuals in the coming weeks in Image Chamber and for Monday Night Raw now being as long as it is, or SmackDown, we have Alexa Bliss and other superstars, even Jada Parker and Julia, and what they could be cooking for the rest of the year. So congrats to all the ladies. They did a fantastic job. And to the ladies that, couldn't show out, Candice LeRae, Raquel Rodriguez, all the other superstars, Delina Vega and Maxine Dupree, the other ones that couldn't stand out. We appreciate you for trying. We appreciate you for doing the spots you guys did. Those 30 superstars got chosen out of the other 40 or 50 superstars that are in total of the roster. So congrats to the ladies overall.
I mean, the ladies did great tonight. Like I'm really proud of that.
They did.
Shout out to Cody Rhodes because Jordan Grace said that this guy booked plus advocated for me to be on the first All-In event 2018, leading me to be offered a TNA contract days later. The rest is history. So should have passed in present picture of her and Cody at the All-In event, which pretty much was the birth of the AEW, where she is right now. And also shout out to Julia from her journey from coming from Japan, debuting in the Royal Rumble. So you got to give a lot of love to the ladies.
Oh yeah, they knocked it out of the park. It's just the ending with Charlotte Hogan and all that. But we're gonna transition now. We're gonna transition. I'm done with the Women's Rumble. Now we got to talk about the Men's Rumble. Oh my God, we're gonna be here till freaking sunrise with all this. God, this men's Rumble again, like just crazy overall. So this is mainly a Rumble in two halves, because like when you look at it, like the second half of this Rumble, out of the 15 guys that came out in the second half of it, only 6 of them were not former world champions. So already, like, we already knew this was going to be a stacked field, but like, yeah, so the whole second half of this Rumble is just a story in itself. But like the first half, mainly kind of focusing on the story. Like, first of all, we kind of build upon the story of like Chad Gable against all these luchadors, because like, first of all, number 1 and 2, Rey Mysterio and Penta. And I saw JD's tweet about this statement made, to another company that also had a show tonight that probably 2 people watched. Rey Mysterio, Rey Mysterio Penta started it off really great. We're building a story with the luchador thing. Carmelo Hayes out again. Cool, neat. He showed out a little bit. Kind of sucks he was the first person eliminated in the match, but I mean, the fact that he was eliminated by Braun Breaker, I believe. I mean, fine. After eating a big old spear from Braun Breaker, we kind of went back with the Otis Chad thing. Cool, neat, awesome, fantastic. I love the IShowSpeed thing. I was a fan of that. He ate a huge spear from Braun Breaker. He even helped eliminate somebody too. At a point, like, I don't know, like, what did you think of the IShowSpeed spot? I guess to kind of start this conversation.
I know some people online had issues with it because it's like, oh my god, a celebrity taking part in the Rumble and everything. But I didn't mind it because Speed's a meme, and I love memes, and I thought it was pretty funny to have him enter that, because obviously you're having these streamers that they pretty much bring an audience to the event itself. So people coming from Kai Cenat and IShowSpeed is only going to get more eyes on the product. So again, just like Jeff was talking about the whole thing with Jey winning the Rumble, it's a money move. It helps get a lot of eyes on the product. So it's like, I was completely okay with the spot. Didn't really bother me at all. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I mean, I feel like I'm not really the biggest Tozawa fan. I have nothing against him. But
yeah,
the IShowSpeed spot was funny because you have him coming out there. He's over. Obviously, he has a lot of fans around the world. And it was a really nice spot to have him and Braun Breaker there. The only thing I was kind of missing there, I thought they were going to do the barking thing, because if you guys haven't seen Speed, his whole gimmick is he does like the whole barking thing, which he's a pretty chill dude, like outside of everything. This is just a character he puts on in front of his audience. But it's like he's a pretty chill dude when you see him like behind the scenes and everything. But his whole gimmick is like barking. So I thought we were going to get a little something with that between him and Braun Breaker before Braun Breaker speared him, which, holy shit, that was quite a fucking sell from Speed. Speed's a real trooper there. So Speed actually sold that pretty well, even though he's not a WWE superstar.
Yeah.
But that was something I was expecting from that, but that's okay. I mean, it's not really a nitpick. It's just something I was kind of surprised they didn't do. And starting off with Rey and Penta, like, oh my god, man. Please make that the Mania match, because they did say that Penta was going to have a good showcase in the Rumble, and he did. He was in there for quite a bit.
Yep.
And also goes to show, how much faith they have in Penta. I mean, look at him. When he came over, he was over with the crowd, selling a lot of merch. I'm really hoping they sell... you know what they need to do? They need to, like, whenever Penta comes out with, like, these different colored masks, they need to throw that up on the shop and just keep selling all these masks. Don't have the same standard one. Like, sure, Penta can have, like, the typical mask he comes out with on Raw, but you should also sell like the special ones at events, because that's just going to make money. If it was up to me, I would do that. Like, oh my god, imagine around like October, if like Penta has like some Bad Blood match, if they do indeed do Bad Blood again this year, imagine him like doing something he did similar to AEW. We had like the whole Joker looking mask, or like some other horror inspired like luchador mask. Imagine them doing something like that, where it's like they sold a mask like that. But this was great to represent another star, making them feel special when you join, making them feel like they're actually worthwhile here, which I really appreciated. So Penta, happy for you, happy for Rey. Again, please make that the Mania match. Chad Gable's always a beast. Looking at number 4 entrance, I will say this. I am a little disappointed with what they did with Mello tonight. because
Yeah.
I was expecting a little bit more at Melo, because I did say that my Iron Man in this match, which I didn't expect him to be Final Four or anything, but I expected Melo to have a little more shine towards the end, like maybe make it like the last 6 or last 5, something along the lines of that, maybe the last 7, and then have him get thrown out, because I feel like he could have easily used it as leverage to boost his stock on SmackDown, where he bragged about being in the match for a long time. I wasn't expecting, Braun to come in there, spear Melo, and throw him out like that, because, like Cole mentioned on commentary, they have a lot of history. So I thought they were going to do a little bit more with Melo there. So like that's my little complaint with that. Like, it's not me like
Yeah.
how I was with the whole Charlotte thing, but it's kind of like I was expecting a little bit more out of Melo tonight, because me and you even talked about this on the show last night when we covered SmackDown. I'm not sure if you heard it, Vash, but like me and Watkins are like really curious when it comes to like the overall direction with Melo, because Melo again is somebody that you're going to be building the company around, like Breaker, like we clearly saw in this match. So I'm not really sure what to make out of that. It's not going to ruin my day, but it's a very questionable decision.
Yeah, like I just want to know what we're doing with Carmelo
Yeah.
Hayes right now.
Yeah, because he's not a
So
jobber. That's the thing. That's why it's like a little weird.
Yeah.
I get the whole thing that they did in the past. Like, oh my god, the cocky guy's gonna say all this shit and get his ass handed to him. But he's not. He's not. I can't really put him on that pedestal like those guys that did in the past, because he's not like that. I mean, you want to really see Melo put on a clinic. I mean, God, watch the trilogy he had of Ilya Dragunov, and Ilya Dragunov was NXT champion 2 years ago. Like their whole trilogy around the summer. I mean, Carmelo's a hooper, so it's like, yeah, really, I don't know what they're doing.
Man, just hearing that name as well, Ilya Dragunov, like we didn't even get him either. We didn't get
Oh yeah, he
Vegeta.
wasn't there. But it's fine. It's fine. I guess he's still healing. It's all good.
Dude, Elimination Chamber. Put Dragunov in there.
Oh my god, please.
Oh,
please
he will
put him. Just throw him in there.
From the top rope and everything, or the top of the chamber shells. Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
But like, so like the next part of this Royal Rumble story of the men,
I am.
Jacob Fatu coming
God.
in, just wrecking house, dude.
And number 12 as well
is a beast. Yeah, number 12. Like, Drop, I think it was you that mentioned him possibly being an Iron Man. Somebody did, I think.
Yeah.
The other night.
Yeah, it was part of mine. It was either him or Melo.
It was me.
Yeah, it was
It
either
was
him
me
or
with
Melo.
Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu, and Job had Carmelo and Jacob Fatu. So we had him both.
I need to look how many people he eliminated. I don't know.
Yeah, because like he went on a bit of a tear.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looked really good in this match, and he had his standoff with Roman and all that. Him and Drew teamed up for a bit, and okay, how do we feel about him being eliminated by Braun? Because like on one hand, I get it, because like I guess the story that they're telling with the whole Braun versus Jacob Fatu thing, and we'll prolong that a little bit. And then Braun didn't stay into the match too much longer. He ended up getting eliminated by John Cena of all people. But yeah, like Jacob Fatu's performance tonight was really good, because again, like he was, he sold some moves, but then he also like didn't and all that. Like the man just continues to impress each and every time he's in that ring, whether he's talking, whether he's fighting. Like the man just knows, he understands the business so well.
I would say, since since I just got back, because I had to go to a little potty break out there, 10-1 real quick. Out of the Rumble, one of my biggest shock is how we first started. Ray and Penta was a great addition to have. They was a great to have an opportunity to show the luchador style. I love the addition to Chad Gable, and then being addition with Santos Escobar, and then we had like the luchadors teaming up with Chad Gable, the team up that Carmelo Hayes also had great chemistry with Chad Gable. They have great chemistry I didn't really expect for them. So Chad Gable has such a good team up. Maybe we have a few of them in the future would be pretty nice as well. I don't have much to say about Otis. So Otis and Chad Gable, they had their little thing. I did give a speculation theory that imagine if Otis versus Chad Gable for the WrestleMania as the last match, that could be a possibility.
Mm.
But Ludwig Kaiser, I feel bad for you, my guy. You was the laughing
I
stock.
don't.
No.
It was Ludwig Kaiser
Yeah. The
and
Kaiser guy right
uh,
here.
was Santos, I believe was his name. That had the previous record
For what?
for the Shoulders Rumble. It was Santos, right?
No, Santino.
Yeah, Santino. I'm not even
Santino.
sure how long he was in there, to be honest.
It was
Ludwig,
like a
I believe, was
second.
there for 10
Ludwig?
seconds. I think Ludwig was. Yeah, Ludwig was there for 10 seconds,
Yeah.
and Santino was there for 1 second. So because he just came in and got out by Kane. A weak showing from our boy Shinsuke Nakamura. I would say he had a weak showing. It's very disappointing that it's kind of flat there. Can't really do much with him. But he had a good showing for what it could be. I would say for the Miz, he was actually better than expected. I didn't think the Miz was be there long, but he had a short showing for the Miz, so I was really impressed by that. But then for Do You Believe Joe Hendry, he was number 15.
Oh god, I love that.
It was great to have him.
Oh,
Joe. He
boy.
was fucking amazing.
It was so good.
seeing my
I was
guy
so happy for that.
seeing my guy coming out that TNA title, well deserved, or organically got over.
Having 66,000 people singing your song, believing in you, man, it was so good. Because again, like Joe Hendry's one of those indie acts. I am gonna say indie act. He was one of those really early indie acts. Like I discovered him like back in like 2015, like late 2015, I think it was. It was whenever WCPW was around doing their thing. Yeah, back when they were called that too, and before they went to like Defiant, I think. But whatever. Like I saw that guy way back then, and I looked at him and was just like, "You are a WWE superstar." You know, I'm just getting back into everything, so like I'm understanding like the sports entertainment stuff and all that. But like I looked at Joe Hendry back then and was just like, you look like somebody that would be perfect in WWE. And just in the past year with him, you know, and I would see him here and there, or hear about like his career here and there and all that throughout the past like 10 years. And then like just last year, finally like getting some forward momentum in his career and like doing really good things in TNA, and then like coming through in NXT. Like the moment he came through in NXT, I'm just like, man, finally you're on like a bigger stage. This is awesome. This is great. And then finally, like this man is a master of manifestation, because I actually saw a tweet from fuck, what's his name? Shoot. Tom from Cultaholic.
Oh, your boy got new merch, by the way, Watkins. I mean, our boy, because I'm a fan of AJ too. He got new merch.
Please tell me he has new gloves. I
need new gloves.
It says
my 10-year-old gloves.
Yeah. It says his new shirt says there can only be one. Like I'll put the design in chat so you can look at it later, but it's really cool.
Okay. Yeah, no. So
shout out to AJ.
From Cultaholic. I am blanking on his name right now.
I thought you said Cultaholic in the Rumble.
Tom. Yeah, Tom Campbell. Okay, good. So I was right. Great. He had a tweet saying how he because he actually announced for TNA when they were doing their UK tour last year and all that. And a lot of the guys at Cultaholic, because they were also with What Culture, who did WCPW as well, they're actually really good friends with Joe Hendry. So they talk to him as much as they can and all that. And Tom on Twitter shared just a short story about how like they were on a bus just this past year, and like Joe Hendry, like again, he's one of these people that is a master of manifestation. He manifested the fact that he would become TNA World Champion. Finally TNA World Champion. And on their bus ride last year, he was talking about how in 2025 he would be in the Royal Rumble. And look at us now in 2025, number 15, again, 66,000 people chanting him. They cut to this kid in the front row jumping with glee at the fact that Joe Hendry came out. Yeah. This man is
He's awesome.
money.
I was one of
And
those.
even
Awesome. They're gonna get him.
oh, totally. They're
And
gonna
I'm
totally
on.
get him.
I love him. He's great.
And plus with his crossover with John Cena, it sucks because I know Joe Hendry has well spoken in an interview that he would love to see eye to eye John Cena in the ring. It sucks we didn't get that because Joe Hendry got kicked out too soon. That would have been great to see an eye to eye with Joe Hendry and John Cena stare down. That would have been an amazing opportunity, but sucks it didn't happen. But hey, great showcase. We didn't get one of my expectations was Zack Ryder / Matt Cardona. I really thought that could have been it. And, we got blue balls that we thought we were going to get some people, but we didn't. Everyone and the mothers and the aunties and the grandmothers and the cousins forgot Logan Paul was going to be here, and he was number fucking 30th.
We'll get to Logan Paul later, because fuck Logan Paul.
Yeah. Okay, so copy. So I will hold my thought on Logan Paul.
The one bit I do like with Joe Hendry.
Yes.
It was with Sheamus just chilling in the corner watching Joe Hendry do his stuff.
And he's building it up too.
Yeah, and then just what was it? It was Jacob Fatu who just like interrupts him, or was it Braun Breaker? One of the two. I think it was Jacob Fatu. No, it's Jacob Fatu. He ended up breaking it up because like we got that stare. Oh, we got that banger of a stare down, and Sheamus is just like, man, I was enjoying that. Why'd you stop that? Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Why'd you have to do
His
that?
reaction, he was really enjoying that. I believe the last person that gave us a reaction like that, if anybody can remember, when LA Knight was also in the same ring last year during around this time when he was going to fight Roman Reigns. And John Cena was in the corner, also amazed at how over LA Knight was. And it reminded me a lot of how Sheamus just seeing how over Joe Hendry was. Like, his face was probably like, damn, this fella is really over with this crowd. I just was enjoying it. It was really good and really solid just to see the reaction. So I agree 100% with Watkins. Like, our face was the same face like Sheamus, and it's just how mad he was at Jacob Fatu. Like, bro, I was enjoying this. Why you got ruined this? It was just pure, priceless, and it was organic as well. And that's the most important. When the stuff that happens is organic and we can still hear very subtle. So it was really beautiful to see.
Yeah, and speaking on speed, either like after the show or if you want to do something a little later after the show, Vash, we gotta watch like Speed's experience of the Rumble because he tried and keep in mind we're bringing up Speed because he is involved in this match and also we're just having fun in the stream. He tried having Charlotte say subscribe to the Speed channel and she kept fumbling it. So, and he also had a moment where like Jey was like, I'm gonna go and win the Rumble. It's like, why is this man running around saying "eat" for?
It was it was comedic because Chad. I wish people could know. Me and Walkers were like in the middle of the Royal Rumble, the men's, and we were like in 14 or 11 around there. And I told him like, yo, I think I should speak because they show Kai. So they show Kai, and then that's when I transitioned and asked Walker, like, I believe Kai and I should speak. Aren't they supposed to be streaming? And obviously, me and Walkers are streaming ourselves, so we're not gonna pay attention to other people streaming ourselves. So I was just curious, like, how is it going for actual speed? And then Tozawa comes out and then gets by the lowest, weakest elbow hit from the back of the head. That it gets him brought back to the back. And then Triple H with the most obvious setup. Like, damn, I need somebody to go out. Yo, Speed, you're right here, right? Go out there and do something.
I'm not ready.
And it was hilarious.
It's just like
they're even selling merch of him now. WWE. They had his own Titantron.
That's funny.
They had his music because he produces his own songs and stuff. So he didn't get Def Rebel. Thankfully, you do music Speed. So he was able to have a little moment there, which was fun.
And he actually ran and actually looked so excited to get down there. He actually had a good pop. So congrats to him.
Oh yeah, he's over. He's over. A lot of people love him around the world. Next thing I do want to bring up is Roman Reigns at 16 was a shocker to me.
Oh, don't worry. I was waiting for everybody to just stop with this first half of this goddamn match, because now we can enter the second half of this match, because holy, oh no, you guys have no, Vash laughs. He wants to cackle over there, up there in New Jersey. No, Roman Reigns coming out at 16 is perfect. That was the perfect spot for him. Why? Because this man needed to prove. I said it on the stream too. He needed to prove to the haters. He needed to prove to everybody why he was on top for so many years, for so long. Yeah, he had bloodline help, sure, neat, awesome. He had some help too during this match as well. But no, he needed to be in there, and his presence, the moment he came in there, was the start of the second half of this match, which had so many storylines going into it, so many just like threads from like the past to the present to even the future going on. The future, one of them being Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker. Now, I've gone on record many times comparing Roman Reigns to Kaido, and I'm like, all right, Kaido needs an Odin, and tonight Braun Breaker had become the Odin to Roman Reigns' Kaido, because he scarred him. He scarred him. He got that spear he gave Roman was perfect.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I thought they were going to collide at first, but
Yeah.
no, Braun was just he was too quick. He was too quick for Roman. Now, unfortunately, he couldn't eliminate him, which, it's fine.
That would have been
Braun,
massive.
Oh, it would have
that
been,
would have been
huge.
crazy. Like,
Yeah.
Because even
whoa.
if you didn't catch Paul Heyman's face, once Braun Breaker took out the spear
Yeah.
to Roman Reigns' face, Paul Heyman's face was like, what the hell? The speed, man. And even, I believe his father was there too, or I believe his uncle, the Steiner was, I believe, is there in the ring, on the side. So it was beautiful to see this man, Braun Breaker, just work.
And that's another thing I like that they set up. I like how they're teasing a lot of these potential matches that we're going to see in the future, because I can definitely see Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns at like a WrestleMania or some sort of program in the future. And I like how, again, like we talked about earlier with the NXT girls versus the vets of this generation, I like how we're getting another one like that where it's like new gen or Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns. So it's like new spear versus the old spear. I'm not really sure how I was trying to get with that, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
It was just really nice to see that showcase. You get that showcase of Roman Reigns, your ass is going somewhere. I mean, hey, Joe Hendry got that. His ass is probably going to go somewhere once he comes to WWE. So it's like that was a really great maker for Braun. Like that's something I was happy about, is that Braun had a moment with a lot of these top guys that are leading up the company right now. But that was a really good moment, Roman Reigns. And you also showed a lot of people were thinking, oh, Roman's going to come at like 25, 26, but he put in a lot of work tonight, and I really like that.
He did.
I really like that.
Again, he needed to prove his status again, and putting him at 16, it really cemented just the second half of this match, because like you had Drew come out immediately right after and just make a beeline for Roman. And he even teamed up with Jacob Fatu for a bit, and then after that, you have Finn, Shinsuke coming out. Like, they kind of have history with Roman, but like they kind of were all also doing their own thing. You had Jay coming out as the backup. AJ Styles coming out. Not only coming out, but coming out to his old music, because Def Rebel, just go away. Just
you're talking
be done
about,
with the company.
Are you talking about AJ?
I mean,
God.
because that's dude,
God.
I flipped when we had that music playing. I ran to get my gloves too for it.
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
I did.
I got to go back and see that reaction, but
He
I was really
disappeared.
happy about that.
Hey, Walkers, where are you? You're gone.
Like, I'll say this, it didn't register with me until maybe 2 to 3 minutes in the match that was, he had his old theme back. Because I think
instant.
Because I was like real. Like, I think I heard it, but I really didn't take it into account right away, because I was just happy to see him. But the fact that they brought his music back, the one that I loved ever since he came in to begin with, because I'm a big AJ Styles guy. I might not talk about AJ. Well, you heard me putting AJ Styles over quite a bit earlier, but it's like, I'm a big AJ Styles guy. Love him. Did great work in TNA. Guy's a legend. Future WWE Hall of Famer. Hopefully he sticks around and finishes his career in WWE where he's valued. But it's like, I was really glad to see AJ come back with his like new music and everything. It's really cool. Very curious to see the creative direction with him, because we don't really know. Like, actually, that's a fun topic I do want to bring up towards the end,
Yeah.
either before the Jey thing or after the Jey thing, because I do have a good mindset of where a lot of these potential directions for Mania might be. So that should be a fun discussion. What was your like overall thought process of like AJ Vash?
I would say my overall thoughts is that I was more excited for you guys because I know you guys are big AJ fans.
Yeah.
I saw Walker's crash out. He disappeared on me like I said earlier.
Oh, yeah.
And then
I knew
and
it
that's
was
like, hey buddy, where did you go? Like, I'm back. I tried to get my gloves. I'm like, nice gloves. And then he also promoted him and said like, hey chat, it's also if you guys want to give me new gloves, it's been 10 years old, so I just saw the excitement, very fun. It was really dope. I'm mad how predictable it was of Logan Paul getting back in the ring and him, I felt like he was, for anybody, I don't know why I'm saying this reference, but from Dora the Explorer, Vipers, he just sneaks in the back and tries to wait for the right opportunity. That's what Logan Paul did. I'm comparing him to Dora the Explorer. This man literally just found the right opportunity. He jumped on the steel steps. And he got Logan Paul, he got AJ Styles right before he jumped and did his phenomenal forearm. And very disappointed, sadly, AJ Styles got yeeted. So that's one of the most disappointing things from AJ Styles. I felt hurt. I seen that as a fan, but I can't imagine how you guys felt about that when AJ Styles got eliminated by Logan Paul and many others. But I know that we're about to get right into it.
Yeah. Also, if the AJ, one thing I will point out, because they did reference his debut at the 2016 Royal Rumble. I'm also glad that Kevin Dunn isn't around as well. Because even like Sap references in this tweet where he said, I'm glad Kevin Dunn isn't around so we could actually see AJ Styles' Rumble entrance.
Yep.
Because before, they just focus on Roman's face and then they showed AJ coming out like right afterwards.
I hated that.
Yeah.
One thing I would say, since we're talking about the production value, I appreciate for the lower thirds. I haven't mentioned this since the women's, but I'll say this right now. The production value of this women's and men's Royal Rumble is truly high key of how detailed from the lower third, explaining their height, their weight, and their nationality, and then explaining, like Watkins and Drop brought up, that their accolades and the resume of where they presented 2016 Royal Rumble, or how many titles they've won, or where they come from. So that's a beautiful type of lower third. And at times during the men's Royal Rumble, they told us a reminder of the time limit and how long they've been on and who's still there. So they give us a number and everything as well. So I appreciate for the production team. As somebody who works in it and does graphics and does all these things, I want to give a big shout out to the Flowers, to the production team, the camera team. They've been doing a lot of work for tonight. So I appreciate for this nice 6-8 hours of your day of the production team. And of course, you guys have been doing more overtime and everything else. So I want to just give a quick shout out to that. To the other people that came right after, Drew McIntyre as number 17. We'll talk about more than he did, but great showcase that he did. He was great introduction. To be shocking of who he got taken out, his face was so pissed that he got taken out. I forgot who did he get taken out from. Drew McIntyre. Damian Priest, yes. His face was priceless and mad.
Yeah.
Finn Balor, I want to ask you, Walker, he was excited for Finn Balor, Walker. How did you feel about your prince coming back?
Yeah. It
was nice to see him back.
I had a funny story.
I'm glad he was in.
I have a funny story to bring with that. So,
talk to us.
So, first off, I'm glad that Finn's back. Hopefully there's a good creative direction for him, because that's all I'm hoping for him to get the presentation that he rightfully deserves. But I completely forgot about that new Judgment Day theme. You know how like the whole rap thing they have going on? So I was laughing my ass off because I thought this was a completely new song that they had for Finn. And I was like laughing nonstop. I'm like, I was like, what the fuck is this? It's almost like Finn Balor coming out to like Not Afraid by Eminem. I'm like, this is not fit. I was like, him coming out with this rap music is not fit at all. So I started
to recognize that as well. Because it also had like the F and like 3 stars on the banners of the ring. I'm like, who is he? And then by the time the camera panned in, I'm like, oh, it was Finn. I felt like so underwhelmed.
Yeah, I know. I was like caught off guard by it, but I was just laughing my ass off for like a good 2 to 3 minutes. And then, I mean, they should have just had him come back with a theme he had when he comes out by himself. But I was just laughing my ass off when I heard that. I'm like, what is this?
Look, Finn's the only one in Judgment Day that thinks it's a bop. So the fact
Yeah,
that he came
was
out to
funny.
it is funny as hell.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean he had a good showing. I was kind of hoping he'd be out earlier, be out a little bit longer, but again, I'm hoping they start building him up to what he actually is and all that. But yeah, like just going through everything now. Now we get to the moment of the match where it's just like, okay, we're just gonna get everybody out here. So like John Cena comes out, he does some stuff and all that, like puts his moves out, eliminates Braun Strowman, all that stuff. Starts staring down Roman Reigns, but then this counter starts going, and out comes good old CM Punk. So already you got like three of the favorites to win the match out there staring each other down. And Punk takes his time, enough time to get down there, and enough time to stare down. The timer starts again, and out comes Seth Rollins, who's not dancing. He is in full serious mode. And
Good.
as soon as he gets in the ring, immediately goes after Punk. So good. We're just gonna keep that
That was a
going
good
and all
build-up,
that.
too.
Right
Thank you
forward.
for that.
Like
That was a good
Mhm.
build up too.
it was like a bull
was.
just chasing a red target. It was like, you my target. I don't give a fuck about nobody else. You my target. The same thing about Roman. Once he saw Seth and the opportunity, it was like red on daylight. It's like, I don't care nobody else.
Yeah.
Roman saw Seth and it was crash out.
I will say this though.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if I missed it. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm honestly surprised we didn't get like a little stare down with Cena and Punk.
I don't
think it
think
was.
we
I think
got a
they, I think they
direct
mixed
shot
that.
of camera.
I think they mixed that with the Roman stare down because,
okay.
because even commentary
Yeah.
is just like, yeah, this is three generations of, or like, yeah, three big names that really solidify different wrestling generations and all that. Which, I mean, they're right in that because, like, Cena with like the whole 2000s, Punk after his pipe bomb really kind of lit a fire in a lot of people's asses, and of course
Oh yeah, that was
Roman,
great.
once the Shield broke up and he went out on his own. Yeah, say what you want about his booking and being shoved down our throats. He was kind of the face of that time and all that, like the face of, hey, we want something different, we want change, not you, anyone but Roman, if you guys remember that time. But yeah, so like that all at least led to a cool moment with the three, and of course Rollins being inserted and all that, sticking himself in the middle was pretty good there. Dirty ass Dom coming out next. I mean, he tried. That's all. That's really all I have to really say there. I mean, especially against Roman, like he tried with Roman, and Roman's just like, "What? What are you doing, dude? Why are you trying to step up to me? You can't do that."
Yeah, I know that was a funny
Um,
spot.
it was. Sami Zayn. Okay, the thing with Sami Zayn coming out, and this is why I'm glad the ladder match ended and happened the way it did, because it kind of helped Sammy's kind of helped build Sammy a little bit for this match, because it's like, okay, his best frenemy, I guess, Kevin Owens, got destroyed by Cody, and Cody's out there acting like Homelander, being like, yeah, I destroyed you, blah blah blah, all that stuff. But it's like now Sammy kind of has a reason to win the Rumble, because it's like, okay, Cody, you're kind of being a dick, and you really hurt my best friend. I don't really like that. I don't fuck with that a lot. So yeah, I kind of need to win the Rumble. So like in a way, it kind of helps his chances, at least for us in our hearts, to believe in Sami Zayn to win. But I don't know. Did you guys see it that way as well, perhaps, or
I'm very curious.
anything with that? Yeah,
Very curious of the creative direction with Sami Zayn heading into Rumble, because like I brought up earlier, there is like a couple matches that I will reference that some fans within the community brought up that could potentially happen in Mania. But Sammy wasn't listed on them. So like I'm really curious to see like what Sammy's doing. I assume we're doing the Sammy and KO story heading into
Yeah.
Mania, because I mean, I'll just throw this out here before we actually no, I'll wait to talk about it, because it's going to be a fun conversation. But yeah, but with Sammy, I mean, I don't know. I think I was expecting a little more. to be honest. Like, I didn't really
Okay.
expect Kevin Owens to come out because he obviously has to sell what happened. It really makes sense for him to come out after that.
Yeah.
But I was expecting a little more out of Sammy, like within this match itself, because they built a lot of story when it came to him heading into this match, when he had that moment with Kevin and everything. And yes, we'll dive into that conversation when we talk about the title match, him and Cody. But I was expecting a little more just based on his the overall build up that they had with Sammy in this match.
Yeah. Damian Priest comes out after that. He had a good showing, I think. Again, he was really the one to, eliminate Drew McIntyre, which
LA Knight got him.
take what you hear from dirt sheets right now with a grain of salt. I mean,
Yeah.
some people were coming out saying, "Oh yeah, the WWE, purposefully filled the dirt sheets with lies, especially around Rumble and WrestleMania time." Which, yeah, after tonight, yeah, I definitely believe that. And now I'm gonna take more bags of salt now instead of the grains of salt I normally do when it comes to the dirt sheets and all that. But yeah, LA Knight comes out after that. He had an all right showing.
Yeah, great pop.
Figured he would do, yeah, great pop. Seeing him and AJ still kind of beefing a little bit. I don't really have much notes for LA Knight. What I do have notes for, now we can talk about it.
Oh yeah,
is that son of a bitch?
Yeah, Logan Paul.
A lot of
God damn it.
Like, I understand why they did what he did in this match, but there is a lot of questionable decisions that they did with this. Like, first off, what did it say? He had 2 eliminations, I believe. Actually,
yeah, because he had Punk.
Yeah, and AJ.
Yeah, he had Punk and he had AJ. Yeah.
Yeah. So my biggest thing is, what was the whole point with taking out Punk? I think
so. If you remember SmackDown last night when Punk made fun of Kevin for losing to Logan Paul.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's because I had the same thought too. I was just like, okay, why is this? And then that clicked in my head where I'm like, oh, wait a minute. He like just 24 hours ago was making fun of Kevin Owens. So it's now like he kind of got his own. It's ironic in a way. Yeah, like it's just like, oh, now you're eating what you sowed and all that. Like,
yeah, it's like you talk shit, get hit, sort of thing.
Yeah,
it is.
So, which leading to that though is that's the meat and potatoes of this. Well, kind of. It's like our delicious salad of all this, because now that we have everybody, now that number 30 is out there, everybody's fighting each other, but 2 men stay on top because 2 men were in a group together. 2 men were dominant together. 2 men were at the top of their game for the better part of years. Years for the company.
At least 2 out of the 3 men is doing good.
Yeah, at least 2 out of 3 of them. The other one is doing something. I don't know. Whatever. That's besides the point. Roman and Seth just obliterating everybody. And we get that awesome shot, this beautiful shot of like the moment Seth realizes, oh crap, me and Roman took out everybody. We're working together. It's like, oh my gosh. And he knows Roman's behind them. They have their little confrontation. And like, I love how we're playing on that story of like what ultimately screwed over Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 last year was trying to take out Rollins. This hatred, this vitriol, like despise, like anger that they have for each other. It ultimately just leads to their downfall, like both of them. And I don't know if it was something that I was talking with my group chat with, but it's like this was an idea that was brought up in like a conversation and all that. The fact that like one thing Roman has to do, he has to get over this whole Seth Rollins Shield thing. He has to get over it before he's able to do anything else with his career. And at the stage that both of those men are at, because that's the other thing during Roman's title reign. What's the one stain on that? What's the one little asterisk when it comes to all the people he faced? It was Seth Rollins, because that was a Royal Rumble match. I'm just realizing that right now. That happened at a Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it did.
That's
when Reigns went a little overboard, like past the 5 count. When he had him in the I forgot what that submission's called, but he went past the 5 count when Seth broke out of it when he put his hand on the rope, and I think that's when Seth won like via DQ. I think that was like, I don't know what year that was.
22?
Might have been 22.
I want to say 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like the guillotine, that's what it was.
Oh,
like
okay,
he
yeah.
had him in that choke and all that. But like, yeah, so these two need to squash it. Roman needs to finish this, or Seth needs to finish it. Like either way, they both need to finish this thing. And again, at the level that they're both at, this is like Rock Austin. Like this is like this generation's Rock Austin, if you want to think of it that way. Because look at the story they had with WrestleMania. It's like, oh, Rock never beat Stone Cold at WrestleMania until like that last one they had, and whereas like Roman and Seth, I would have to go back and look at their like one-on-one records, but I want to say Seth has had Roman's number the majority of the time.
Yeah.
You know? So like Roman really just needs to get over this Seth thing, and it's probably going to be one of the Mania matches. And the fact that CM Punk of all people capitalized on this, like that just adds to the whole Seth Rollins aspect of it. It adds to the Roman Reigns seeds that we had planted back in Survivor Series, and then again Punk like getting knocked out by Logan Paul, eating that irony, and then like just the beatdown afterwards, where it's like Seth just hitting 2 curb stomps on Roman, one of them being on the steel steps, and then the beatdown to Punk. Like, maybe we get a triple threat out of this, because I don't know what Punk's going to be doing at Mania.
Okay, so
but I'm assuming this is leading to that. Yeah,
this is tying into that discussion I teased earlier, because I'll bring it up now so we could have it in existence, so we know what the topic is at hand. But so there's Wrestle Futures. Not sure if you guys know what this account is, but they put this little thing together. Keep in mind, it's just based on speculation. But the tweet says, some matches that I assume could possibly be on the WrestleMania card after tonight. So one of them was Logan Paul versus AJ Styles, which would probably be a great match. And if it were to happen, not saying I want it, I would prefer AJ to go over. Gunther versus Jey Uso, the Wyatt Six versus the Judgment Day, which I know that was like a rumor a little while ago. We don't really know where Wyatt Six is going. And like you said, I think it's going to be Reigns versus Rollins versus Punk, because you wouldn't have Rollins spazzing out like he did in that moment after he got eliminated, because it's like, we know the initial rumor was Punk versus Roman at Mania, but it kind of doesn't really make sense to like, push Rollins to the side and like deal with that like Elimination Chamber or something. Like that to me seems like it's like, okay, if something happened between Punk and Roman in the match, then I can understand that's the direction, just Roman versus Punk at Mania. But you can't leave Seth Rollins out after that, because like he flipped off Paul Heyman. He went into business. He went into business for himself, kayfabe wise, and he just he even walked over Punk. Like Punk just walked off, did his own thing. Obviously, he's frustrated that he lost, but he didn't do as much damage to Punk that I expected. Like he pretty much took out a lot of his frustration on Roman Reigns. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it actually is Rollins versus Punk. I mean Rollins versus Reigns at Mania, but I feel like Punk's gonna have to factor in there, because they wouldn't have highlighted him into that whole thing. So I feel like that's definitely a possibility of like what we're gonna do with those characters moving forward, which then makes me question obviously Randy Orton's involvement whenever he comes back, because I don't think Orton's getting Owens anymore because it seems more than likely we're going to be getting Sammy and Owens. And then
Yeah.
obviously the other matches that said Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Not really sure about that one. And Tiffany versus Charlotte Flair, which is obviously not a no-brainer. But I definitely feel like we're getting that triple threat.
Yeah. Yeah, and like
So
I'm curious if like it has
Then you wonder what the favor,
if it's
what the hell is
for
the favor?
something.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
I think it would be a kind of a letdown if the favor is like insert me into this match. It doesn't really make any sense. Like, why would you have the favor be
Yeah.
that? You could just make that a regular match. Like, what's the favor?
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm
sorry,
curious to see
Vash,
if
you were
anything
yeah.
of tonight got. I'm curious to see if anything tonight gets botched or anything that it didn't go to plan, or how
Yeah.
would this
Mhm.
favor be like, drop say like
You would
why
think
would
it'd
it
be
be
something big.
like exactly like it
Yeah.
would be something more bigger than it just be like, hey, Paul, insert me in this match. That's hard to say the possibility when it's not something big as where like if CM Punk didn't win and Roman won, where that was the original plan for Watkins Theory. If those anybody that saw Grappling of the Week, we thought that it was gonna be Roman Reigns, and then CM Punk will put in his favor to be like, "Hey, insert me in this match. That's my favorite. I'm gonna lock that in." But like CM Punk said in, I believe in Captain Kelly or
Hmm.
Jackie, they did an interview, and CM Punk said that I don't know yet when I'm gonna cash in this favor. So at the moment, that made me realize that this favor is not happening anytime soon. It's maybe
No.
like a type of like lock in and loaded type of favor. Wait until when it's ready. Like probably SummerSlam this
That's what
year
I'm
or probably much
thinking.
later. Because
Mhm.
if you're gonna present this and have this opportunity to for the longevity, because people need to remember, Triple H has said this in the last year of WrestleMania or a couple months prior. Right now, we're in the long game. We are building short form content, the clips, the social media, the entrances, the hype moments. But Triple H is still about the long story. Like Paul Heyman used to say, the ninth inning. All these things are pure storytelling opportunity. One thing I want to add as well, Watkins brought up a beautiful camera reference. The camera reference of the out of focus, in focus of CM Punk, oh, sorry, not CM Punk, Seth freaking Rollins and Roman Reigns was beautiful,
Mhm.
well timing and good, showing that both of them was, sensing their hockey, their aura once another. And it showed the beautiful potential of what they could show and what they could be. And I love that very much for these two. Watkins brought up a great reference during the stream that it was like the Shield reference between them. I didn't catch it until after the playback and everything else because they worked so well together. It reminded me of that Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns spear when Bray Wyatt pointed. Excuse me. And Roman Reigns spear at the time, and it was such beautiful chemistry and choreography. Reminded me a lot of Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins' chemistry very well. And Logan Paul, go fuck yourself. With all respect, you took out my boy, CM Punk, and you was the person that people thought that could be, but you never was.
Hmm.
So Logan Paul, you got what you
Yeah.
deserve. You got out and got thrown out.
Yeah. Big shout out to Cena for taking that out because I think
Thank God.
there's a part of me that almost made my head play tricks on me about him potentially winning the damn thing.
Look, I honestly did not
I told
expect that my six to actually be Jey Uso, John Cena, Logan Paul, CM Punk, Roman, and Seth, and AJ Styles. And I can't believe that these were my last 6 to 8 people on the ring, and it
Hmm.
was pretty hectic. The anxiety was up
Hmm.
there of seeing Watkins crash out good 3-4 times during the stream on the last 10
Yeah.
minutes of the
That
show.
part.
It
oh
was pretty
I
hectic.
told I told Vash if Logan Paul ended up winning, I was not doing the show tonight.
Oh yeah, me
I
too.
was gonna
I
Dude,
actively
no, just think
protest
about it.
the show tonight.
Think about it like this. Like, imagine like how the show would be if we had like a Charlotte and Logan Paul Rumble win. Like, just imagine the discussion in that show. I wouldn't even
I
know
would have
what
been
to name the
angry.
title.
You know.
I would have been angry. I
The
would have been
title.
angry. I'm
That
like, yo,
Final
I don't got
show
shit
of
to say
Weebs
other
of the
than
Ring.
curse.
Yeah. Like the title I
We're gonna
have
get
now.
canceled.
Like I kept it professional with the title we had now, but I don't know if I would be able to keep the. I don't know if I'd be able to come up with a creative title if we had Logan and Charlotte.
the two scumbags of the industry of pro wrestling. I don't know. But look,
Yeah.
let's talk about
Yeah.
the big elephant in the room.
Logan.
We got main event Jey Uso has become WrestleMania main
John Cena
event.
put
Jey
him over.
Uso, yeet. John Cena,
Yep.
like Drop said, John Cena, instead of getting the 3-time and be tied to Stone Cold Steve Austin as the Royal Rumble winner, we got John Cena to actually give it to Jey Uso. We didn't expect it.
Pause.
Myself and Watkins were shocked. We were utterly shocked that
Yeah.
Jey Uso won. But look, chat, I'm gonna say it first, and I'm gonna let my team go next. That this is something that makes sense. Look, as much as you guys could say when it comes to merch, when it comes to the guy being over,
Yeah.
we've been asking for this since last year, since he became a singles competitor, and since he's been going for the world heavyweight title 5 times now and has lost. He held the IC title, his first singles IC title, and he did such a great job. And as a trial run for the 5-6 weeks he's held it, he held it for, I believe, a good 47 days, if I remember correctly from the top of my head. And now we have the strap for him to go for the title. But my choice right now, I want him to go after Cody. Gunther, if it's Gunther, please have a good build up, plan it.
Yeah.
But if it's Gunther, it's gonna make his run very short and very underwhelming. When Gunther has been having a rocky run for a lot of fans that has been a fan of Gunther since the UK or since his 666
Yeah.
days run of the IC title. So I know, like Drop, like Walker's, are very disappointed right now with Gunther's run. I'm not the biggest Gunther's fan, so I'm okay with his run. It's nothing too crazy or out of this world.
Yeah.
He's been in the back burner, but hopefully in the next couple months we
Yeah.
can get the build up once again. Maybe if my per se Jey Uso versus Cody Rhodes, and we get John Cena at the Elimination Chamber for Gunther at the WrestleMania. That's a possibility. But
Yeah.
those are my 2 cents, guys. How about you, Drop and
So
Walkers? Whoever wants to go first, let me
yeah.
know, how did you think about the main event, Jey Uso to actually take the upset? How did you feel?
So I will say this. So heading into the program, they did a very good job building up the men's rumble when it came to a lot of convincing. A lot of the guys had a lot of good arguments of why they should win the rumble when it came to Drew, Seth, Roman, etc., so on. And I was expecting it to be like a Punk or a Seth potentially, because they teased that little thing with Gunther. So I wouldn't put past them if they gave it to Seth, but there was no Jey Uso reports, because you know how the dirt sheets try getting things out first. But there was no reports going around about Jey Uso. I'm not saying that we have to rely on that, but there was no speculation, and it wasn't in anybody's mind that Jey Uso was going to go over and head to WrestleMania for the champion of his choosing. So with that in mind, that caught me off guard, because it's just something I didn't expect, and I kind of like that shock value with it, because it's good to have something that's unexpected every once in a while instead of always knowing what's going to happen. And I'm not saying that like that's a bad thing, but it's also nice to not it's also nice to get a result that you don't normally expect to see. So when it came to Jey Uso winning, it was more of a shock. That's why I can't really say I'm mad with it, because I can understand the business perspective behind it. Because with Jey, he's been busting his ass off. He's been proving why he's in the main event picture that he's in now, because ever since he broke off the chain, just like how Jacob Fatu did, broke off the chain, becoming his own man, Jey Uso busted his ass off to get organically over with the crowd. So when he won by eliminating John Cena, which is huge in itself, because I mean, that's John Cena, that's a legend in the business, so that means a lot for Jey Uso's future moving forward. But it caught me off guard with that, and I definitely feel like they're gonna have Jey Uso finish that story of him becoming world heavyweight champion, because I don't see it being Cody, because I feel like they kind of want to give John something, and John's a match that Cody has been wanting for quite some time. and I don't think John's going over in that match. And I can't really see any pathway for a Jey and Cody program, and that might just be me, but I don't really see that being a realistic option. I sort of feel like it's gonna be Gunther just because there's something you can work with there, and hopefully they can tell a better story with that heading into WrestleMania. And I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be opposed of him going over in that match, because as much as I love Gunther and everything, they're not really doing anything special with Gunther when it
Sadly,
comes
yeah.
to his World Heavyweight Championship reign, because I was expecting him to go through guys like Finn and Priest, and if Ilya didn't get injured, I was expecting him to go against Ilya, maybe a Braun Breaker, whoever else is on Raw. A Seth Rollins, honestly, kind of surprised that never became a thing. And I was expecting him to get Punk at that Survivor Series last year. So it's like I was expecting more out of that reign. But more than likely, I feel like, Jey Uso is gonna get that win by defeating Gunther. Like, that's my prediction with that.
Here's my thing with Gunther. What more do we do with the build between him and Jey? Like, how many times have they faced each other now? Because like Gunther had the message of like 3-0 against Jey. Okay, cool, great. But like every time they start a program, it's literally the same thing over and over again. Oh, you're not on my level. Oh, you're just a tag team wrestler. Like, it's literally the same build over and over and over again. So you're gonna sit there and tell me we're gonna do the same thing for Gunther versus Jey, the same kind of build for WrestleMania of all things. Like, I can see a path where we get to Jey versus Cody. I can see it. And it involves Sammy. It involves Sammy and it involves Toronto. That's where I can see it. And especially with Cena already saying, oh, I'm going to enter the Elimination Chamber, there's his path to Gunther and that whole thing. Because, like, and the reason I bring up Sammy is, again, there's a story with just Cody ruining these friendships that he has because of the title. And what other friendship beyond Sammy that is basically going to be ruined at Toronto, I'm thinking, than Jey? Because like when you look at the whole Jey thing, the whole Yeet stuff started with him and Cody winning the title. If it wasn't for that, if it wasn't for like that moment of them just being like completely plastered, going to the press conference and all that, like there would be no yeeting. There would be no France with everybody yeeting all over the place. There would, I dare say, there would not be a main event Jey Uso because of like not having that. So like if anything, like there's a great story to tell with Cody basically making Jey, and like that's why I'm so against Jey going after Gunther, because again, it's like, where do you go? What more do you add to that story, like besides what they've already done? So it's like, let's do something more. Let's do something deeper. Let's do something more meaningful, more impactful. And like, and because that's the thing. Cody can lose that title because we're going down that route. We're eventually going to go down that route where he loses that title, because eventually he is going to have to lose that title.
Oh yeah, they'll lose it sometime this year.
Yeah, and like, I can honestly, at this point, I'll say right now, have Jey be the one to take it from him. Have Jey be the one to like kind of humble Cody a little bit, And I mean, yeah, we've talked about, oh yeah, Randy Orton coming back and all that, and facing Cody, and that could also be a route too. But like, and hell, maybe even Cody goes. I mean, dare I say, Cody can go over at Mania and finally, ends another friendship and all that. Maybe Cody has to pull out some dastardly tricks and like again do like that pseudo heel thing that we had mentioned earlier. Mentioned earlier about with like, with the just the trajectory of his character right now. But it's just like I can't sit here and sit through another Gunther Jey promo battle again, because it's just it would just be
No.
the same shit over and over again.
No,
you know?
I get your reasoning. I just don't trust them to go
Yeah.
down that direction. Like what you just pitched right there, it makes the most sense to go down there because it's something different. It's something we haven't seen. It's another relationship that Cody could break. I just don't trust them to do that. That's the thing, because
which
they
sucks.
because they proved us earlier tonight with that Charlotte Flair winning the Rumble. They gave her an easy way to get to Mania right there so she can get to Tiffany Stratton. So it's like, if they're giving Charlotte that Willy Wonka ticket to go to the chocolate factory, I can't really see them do, like, do I want to see Jey and Cody? Yeah. Is there a lot of story there? Like you said, yes. It's just hard to trust them because, I mean, these past couple months, I will admit, like when we got towards the later half of the year with WWE, it's been like hit or miss when it comes to a lot of the decisions they made. Like, if they really wanted to, they could have had Gunther go over in that crown jewel thing, and it wouldn't have done any damage to Cody. But they had Cody go over in that match. I feel like it probably would have did a little bit more with Gunther. Would actually add a little bit more weight when it comes to his reign if he actually went over against somebody like Cody. Because, I mean, realistically, you could see it. It's not something that's impossible. So it's like, I just feel like when it comes to these certain people, they like protecting them too much, and they don't like taking risk. That's why a lot of people are saying, you know, when it came to Cody and KO tonight, they could have done another outcome where Kevin Owens could have potentially gone over, and we could have gotten like a shock value moment where KO's actually the champion heading into Mania, and then you could have built off the whole entire promo thing with him and Sammy. You could have played it out there, because they have had matches at Rumble. They had matches at Mania before, but this time a title would be on the line. It would be a good feel moment because of all the history they had. I just have a hard time trusting them. That's the thing. That's the only reason why I feel like they might do the Gunther thing again, because I don't expect them to do something different, because it's a repetitive thing that they do a lot.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. It's just like, you know, if they do the Gunther thing, that's also predictable too, because it's just like, okay, well, now Jey kind of has to, because otherwise, like, because
makes that Rumble win worthless
either
right?
way. Exactly, because it's like it's lose either way if he goes for Gunther, because like you get another match between the two. If Gunther loses, his title reign is basically like poo, to put it lightly, poo, you know. And if Jey loses, his stock goes down even more, because like he loses another title match. So
I will say this, not saying that I trust Triple H booking. I'm more skeptical, curious to see where we're going to be leading into and what's going to be happening Monday, since Jey is part of Monday Night Raw. So I know he'll be talking about this, and he'll be getting like a celebration. And at that moment, we'll be hearing more information, because, you know, myself and audience chat always write down below your thoughts about this. How do you feel about Jey Uso winning the Men's Royal Rumble and Charlotte Flair? Are you guys excited about this, or are you guys a bit of a sour puss? But when it comes to Jey Uso, I am happy for him, unexpected, but thrilled for him nonetheless. So congrats to Jey Uso for winning. And please choose Cody, don't choose Gunther. And I'm really curious to see what happens in this coming weeks.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we'll get our answer on Monday. Hopefully.
I'm hopeful. But like, and I do see your point where it's just like, you know, where can we like? It's hard to trust them, especially after the Charlotte thing, you know. So it's like, they gotta earn our trust a little bit with that. So that's why I'm hopeful for them to just go the route that would actually kind of build upon what you guys did last year. You know, again, like that's why I tried to, you know, kind of fantasy book something the other night. It's just like, you know, give us something that can like really get us talking and discussing and like making, you know, because WWE's already super hot. It's been hot for like the past 2 years and all that. But like, you got to keep that forward momentum going. You can't just like back down on something that's like, that could be really good, you know. So,
and another thing with like Cody that he did mention, because I remember he mentioned this in an interview, he said the road to WrestleMania would be unexpected, which Cody and Cena you would think that would be a match that would happen sometime down this year, but nobody would predict Cody and Jey just because they're bros. So playing
Yeah,
into what Cody's words is, that would be a unpredictable match.
yeah. So I don't know. Do we have more to talk about with the men's Royal Rumble? We've been going on
Um,
for a while, but like,
um,
No.
all I'm gonna say here is, hopefully AJ Styles gets a good showcase. If it is against Logan Paul,
hopefully,
please have AJ Styles go over in that match.
please, please, begging
On
you
my end, I don't gonna
for
just
that.
to say congrats to our boy Jay. Yeet. Can we see what you do this Monday? And you
Yeah.
have made it. Oh, the last comment I was gonna say, I just triggered me that if we do get Jey Uso versus Cody Rhodes, it reminded me of what Watkins said that Cody Rhodes is the one that made Jay. For anybody
Mm.
that understands, the boys Homelander was made in a lab, and he also has a son slash a clone version that has also been made in a lab. That's all I'm gonna say for those that haven't seen the boys. I don't want to spoil for anybody that haven't seen it, so please go check it out. The series
Yeah.
is exceptional for
Hmm.
what it is to your standards, but that is a pretty interesting scenario concept. That's why I said that. Imagine we have Homelander versus the byproduct that got made by him himself as well, and now he's versing the product that he made up. Now it's really curious to see will the product be over the original copy. So, AKA Jay versus Cody. I'd love to see that for another scenario because it'll
Mm.
be a beautiful teacher versus the master, or something like that, like the Padawan versus the Jedi. It'll be a beautiful
Mm.
type of references, so I'm here for it. But those were
Mm.
my last thoughts.
Yeah. But we've been speaking about Cody. We've been dancing around it. We had a ladder match between him and Kevin Owens tonight, which was brutal
Yeah, it was a great
as
match.
hell. Like, I'm glad they went into the crowd for a bit for it.
Hmm.
The commentary too. Like, I know we haven't talked about the commentary too much tonight throughout, the night and the matches and all that, but like even in this match, they were really putting over just how brutal both Kevin and Cody were being. And like Cody's selling too for some of this stuff, like that fisherman suplex from like the second rope that Kevin did. Like that sell was beautiful
Oh yeah.
of Cody's. Um yeah, and I like too how this was like the impetus for Sammy to come out. Like both men are very much hurt. There were a few spots too in this match that were like just made me go ugh. Like the backdrop that Kevin did. Like I think drop you might remember this too. I think it was like it might have been a Money in the
Oh,
Bank ladder match. It was some
Oh.
ladder match that they had
yeah,
um
that one was
where
tough.
Sammy did the same thing to Kevin and Kevin landed on a ladder just like he did tonight, like right on his like in the middle of his back. Like that shit.
Oh
Ugh,
yeah, I
that made me
believe so.
cringe a
I
little
can't
bit.
remember, right? I think I know what you're
Hmm.
talking about.
Yeah. And also too, I said this too while we were streaming and all that. I like how we're doing like these hardcore matches where like a weapon will break. So like tonight it was ladders, for example. Back when Punk and Drew had their Hell in a Cell match, when the table broke, they actually were using like bits of the table. It's like, yeah, why not do that? Why not use the bits of the weapon that broke in your offense? Like that's just smart to do and all that. Um but man, that Alabama slam to end it all, that was just
Oh yeah.
chef's kiss, you
Honestly,
know.
surprised he didn't do a crossroads on top of ladder, but it's not that big of a deal.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
I would say this was a brutal match.
Oh yeah.
Chat. I will say there's not much to say on my end because one, I'm extremely tired. Me and Walker's been streaming for almost like eight-ish hours. So I would say this that like when it comes to this fight, it was something that we expected. Cody Rhodes winning, something that I didn't really expect. If they did surprise KO winning, all right, cool. Excuse me. When me and Watkins did speak about during the show that hey, both players are injured, and also it was I believe like halfway in the match we said, hey, where is Sammy? Is Sammy still gonna come out? And Sammy came out the perfect time. We
Mhm.
thought Sammy was gonna get involved more or interact more or say any lines, but he was playing more of the devil's advocate. He was playing in the in-betweener that he didn't know where to choose, but he didn't show much action. He showed more caring of KO. He was bleeding at the end after the Alabama Slam. I do agree with Watkins. The slam that he did in the ladder, in the lower back, that one got me. As somebody who suffers from lower
Yeah.
back pain, that shit was fucking brutal. As fucking hell, that shit got me like freak out. Me and Watkins were just utterly speechless. Chat, you guys will be seeing post clips throughout the day of Sunday and Monday for those that are watching right now as the newest VOD. So that's why, so go check out social media. If not, go check out twitch.tv/NY3 Studio, where we had the stream itself
Legitimize.
there. Still up there. Legitimize, yes. For those that have seen the Friday show, you should know what we mean.
Oh,
For
God.
Watkins having a little
Legitimize.
struggle of life there. Hilarious.
Life is a
But
struggle.
one thing I would say, KO, you guys did a great performance. I'm sure that Cody and KO have many trust in each other to be doing what they did to each other, to even rip off the pieces of the ladder. I believe one of the bottom step of the ladder even came off and they used that as a weapon, and that looked hella painful. The back of Cody Rhodes was brutal. It showed how strong it was as well.
And the tiny ladder. The tiny ladder was great.
Yes, oh
I
my
love
god, the
that
tiny
thing.
ladder was fucking ridiculous. Even KO was questioning why the fuck do we have a tiny ladder. He was frustrated, and the way Wade Barrett kept talking about it. Oh, the ladder is back in the ring. It's been the most useful.
Yeah.
It's the most offensive. I'm like, wait, Barrett, what the fuck are you talking about? But it just added substance. It just added to the comedy of KO and Cody. Really brutal match, and it showed that Cody was influenced. I remember, what was it? Michael Cole. He said a beautiful line that the WWE Champion may be not saying curse, but it may be changing the champion like it has done to the Tribal Chief, to Roman Reigns, as is doing to Cody Rhodes. He's losing the people around him that he first started and won the belt last year, 10 months ago, or I think 9 months ago right now, that he won it with Randy, KO, John Cena, all these people in the middle of the ring. But right now, nobody is behind Cody Rhodes right now. So it's pretty interesting how they're treating the championship like it's a curse. So I really appreciate that. But Drop, I went long enough. What did you think of this match itself as well?
It was probably my favorite match of the night just because of the brutality in it, because I've always been a fan of ladder matches. I mean, the Hardys is probably one of the main reasons why I've always loved ladder matches, along with just all the kind of matches I saw growing up when it came to the early 2000s when I was getting into WWE for the very first time. You know, we had some nice matches between like the Hardys and the Dudleys and Edge and Christian around that time as well. So I've always loved ladder matches because they usually always deliver. That's why I always get super excited for Money in the Bank. And when it came to the kind of program that was being built around Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, I was expecting the story to be good. I was expecting the match to deliver. And like I mentioned the other night, I wanted a little color because it's kind of hard to get into one of these matches without showing the effects of the match. It's kind of like you have your crimson mask to show like sort of war that you went through in this match to get to where you want to be. Like obviously the end result is getting that world title for either of those guys. So it was really nice to see them show what it means to be in a ladder match, kind of like how was Punk and Drew last year when it came to the Hell in a Cell, actually proving what a Hell in a Cell match should be like. So I like how they actually showed some care for the match compared to past years when it came to just these stupid little matches that they had. So I really liked this match between Cody and KO. Obviously, things are done between the both of them, and I've seen this shot going around online. I like the whole thing with like Cody holding both of the belts, and you get that pan of Kevin Owens' face all bloody, and you got like Sammy right above him. It's a shot where it's like all the way up in the air, and you get that glance at KO So it was a really nice match. I liked it. I was surprised that Randy Orton didn't show up at all in this match because I was
Yeah.
expecting him to show up only because I just had this weird feeling that he's gonna try to get back at Owens, and this match was pretty brutal, so I was expecting him to come out of nowhere, either to hit RKO or get KO in a situation where he's gaining a lot of momentum, and then Randy comes in, he hits the punt kink or whatever, and then you build off the match from there. Because I mean, if they're bringing the pile driver back, I was expecting them to bring back the punt kick for at least one night to show the effects of that move, but no Randy in here, which again, no, there was like a little unpredictability there because a lot of us were expecting Randy, so it was nice not to see Randy, which again makes me question what's Randy's plan. You don't read Randy Orton off the Mania card,
Yeah.
so
Like, what's Randy doing?
yeah, because it's like,
what-
it's because it's like they're building to KO and Sammy, and then Roman's gonna be busy with Punk and Seth potentially. So it's like, what the hell is Randy doing? Was Randy gonna just arcade fight a broom in the middle of the ring? Like, what's his plan? I mean,
Yes.
fuck. Give me. And I know we were talking about like Cody and Jey earlier, but if there is a chance to do something, maybe Cody and Randy would be a nice option.
Yeah.
But yeah, like besides like the Randy thing, which please Triple H do something nice with him. The match delivered. It did what it needed to do. Don't really have anything else to really say about it. Lot of
Yeah.
good spots.
Yeah, just a lot. Like, this is one of
I
those
felt them
ones where
too.
really. Oh yeah, like this is just one of those ones. Like,
So it's painful.
I highly recommend going to
Oh, yeah.
watch and all that. You know, because it is really good. It's really
Yeah.
fun too. Just like some of the spots. Plus, like,
Yeah.
they didn't really go after the title on the ladder too much, which I appreciate too. Because like a lot of times when they build these ladder matches and all that, like there's a lot of spots where it's just like, oh, I'm climbing up the tower, gonna go get it. It's like, no, we didn't get to that too much of that until like the latter half of the match. So I appreciated that a lot. At least on my end. But yeah, I mean, we just got to see where things are going because, like you said, it's like where does Randy go? We kind of know where Sammy and KO are going. Maybe where Cody's going. I don't know. Yeah, that's gonna be one thing where because like that's the thing. This was a feud ender. Like the feud is done with Kevin Owens, so it's like, all right, where do we go from here? Like, who's the next one? How are we building these stories and all that? So,
Yeah, because most
yeah.
likely we're having a Cody versus somebody at Elimination Chamber.
Mhm.
If not, we need to have a Gunther versus somebody. Since Gunther, you didn't do nothing in the Royal Rumble, so we're definitely going to need some things to represent either of those titles at the Elimination Chamber. And when it comes to KO, I do agree, Watkins. I'm glad that they didn't try to climb over the to get the titles. They just kept going against offense and defense with the ladders, and I'm glad not
Mhm.
a lot of weapons were used either. It was mostly the ladders being as weapons in themselves against with the ladders. So I was also very appreciative of that.
Yeah. So we're just gonna go ahead and transition to our last match here. We had our WWE Tag Team titles on the line in a 2 out of 3 falls match. DIY, they had some help with Street Profits to get the final fall for the match. The match overall, I thought it was fine. I know before we started tonight, I think there is a part of me that does agree with you, Drop. You had mentioned, I think it was you, Drop, that mentioned
Yeah.
that felt like they were leaving a little bit on the table, or that there was just maybe there's a more that you wanted, and yeah, I could kind of agree with that. It was just like maybe there could have been a little bit more. I think just one highlight for me for the match though is it was that fake tag that Champa gave to Gargano because it made me think of the the end of the New Day's long title reign when they faced the Bar at the time because like Sheamus he faked a tag to Cesaro and it ended up kind of helping them trick the New Day in order for them to win. So that was one spot that I really liked, but a lot of good tag team offense too throughout. I mean, I think it was Saban who kicked out of a shatter machine, or at
Yeah.
least was something that looked like a shatter machine. Like he kicked out of that thing, and he also kicked out of like 2 of Ciampa's finishers, or because like he kicked out of the fairy tale ending, or like no, I think it was like the fairy tale ending into like I forgot what Ciampa calls it because he doesn't use it too often. I don't think, like that backbreaker kind of thing that he does, almost like a code breaker to the back or whatever. Yeah, Saban was able to kick out of that too, or maybe it was Shelley. I get those two mixed up, so I apologize for that. But yeah, so go ahead and talk to me guys about it. Like, Vash, what do you think of the tag team title match?
Street Profits is back. That's all I care about.
Looks like they're
Yeah,
heel.
they
They
are
might
back.
potentially be heels.
Okay, I'm here for
It's
it.
fine.
Yeah.
Which like I'm okay with it. Like,
It actually kind of makes sense, to be honest.
Which honestly,
Yeah.
chat, that makes sense. What Drop just said exactly as it is, because they got attacked twice. They lost opportunity for the DIY, and for the titles, they lost their chance, and the DIY has taken the opportunity. So it makes sense. And for the match itself, look, jokes aside, great match. If you want to see my full reaction thoughts, go check out the VOD of me and the watching the fight, or go check out the reactions on the social media, because the match itself was good to analyze, good to see. It was a good head on head. I believe Ciampa was bleeding on his nose or his forehead as well. I believe in one of the spots he was starting to bleed as well. DIY didn't expect Street Profits to come here to help, since Pretty Deadly last night on Friday night they said that they're not gonna be part of it. They're not gonna help. So it makes total sense. However, Street Profits did come to help. They use a what's that
A
weapon they
crutch.
use?
They use a crutch.
A crutch. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Drop.
Pizza
They use a
crust.
crutch to break in the back of DIY outside of after they got the ring. They used it as a good ass weapon on the back, and that should look painful.
Mm.
And that was my favorite thing. Street Profits. I'm a big fan of Street Profits. And I said it during the reaction. Street Profits versus DIY at WrestleMania. And Street Profits finally get the W on holding that. They even held their titles and held it up in the air. And it looks amazing on them. I thought
those
Montez
belts
Ford
look
was
good.
also going to jump in the Royal Rumble. But makes sense he hasn't, because right now he's on the tag team type of picture and focus. So whenever Montez Ford goes on a single run, I am here for it and I'm ready. But Drop, what do you think about this tag team match? Because I know you'll probably have more things to say about the match other than my ass being hella excited for the Street Profits.
So I will say this. It was a solid match, and I was sort of expecting a little bit more because this is a DIY specialty match. Just like how it's a Motor City Machine Gun specialty match, because they had a lot of history with this in TNA that they were putting over on commentary. So I was
Yeah.
expecting a little bit more out of it. I think for the most part, that probably has to do with the crowd. And granted, that could be because they just got done with the Women's Rumble and they were heading into this match. So a lot of the energy was probably drained from that.
Yeah.
But I am happy again that we have a ongoing story with the tag team division, because there's history with the Street Profits, DIY, Motor City Machine Guns. Well, more with like the DIY situation of who took them out. So I'm happy with the building on that. Happy that Watkins went on social. Dawkins. That's why I got it mixed up. Happy that Dawkins went on social media and called out the dirt sheets. I'm not sure if you guys saw that. But,
Yeah, I saw
they were
that.
saying
Yeah,
how they
That's
were.
good call out.
I think it was actually earlier today. I'm not sure who reported on it. I think it might have been Meltzer. But there's
Of
also
course.
there's also a Meltzer sign in the audience. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Someone said like
No, I
Meltzer.
didn't.
There's like I'll have to look it up and like put it in chat. One of these if I ever find it. But there's like a report coming out saying that they were like injured. They said like Dawkins was injured or something. So I'm not sure if that could have been done by design, now that I think about it. Where it's like you had that report go online and then they came out with the crutches and they just use it as weapons just to throw shots at whoever reported on that thing. But it's nice that we got the Street Profits back. And I know I put over Pretty Deadly last night, where I felt like that was going to be the creative direction with them moving forward, of them getting the tag team titles from DIY, which is still a possibility. But I think I'm going to lean towards the Street Profits because I feel like they need it.
Same.
I feel like
100%.
I feel like they need it more. They really need to be put on the level that they deserve to be in because they're a great tag team. And it sucks to me that they don't get as like much recognition. Like where DIY and Motor City Machine Guns is right now, that should
Yeah.
be where the Street Profits are. So I'm hoping they get the title sometime this year because it would be a good feel moment. I feel like I think they said like it's been 3 or 4 years since they last had tag team gold. So
Yeah, it's
I'm
been
just
a long time.
yeah, so I'm happy they're back because it just again like we got from the men and women's rumble, a lot of people coming back. I'm glad that we got another tag team coming back so we can get some good matches and we can get some good presentation with them moving forward. So
Yeah.
Jay, I'm here
Yeah,
for it.
I'm looking forward to.
Good
I'm looking
profits.
forward to see. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how our tag team divisions grow and all that.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah, I could maybe see another multi-team
Yeah.
tag match at Mania. Now, hopefully it's not like a normal match. Maybe they could do like an eliminator or something, like something
Yeah.
to kind of make it just a little
Yeah.
different than what we've seen and all that. And as long as it's not a ladder match, like again, nothing wrong with ladder matches, but like
Yeah.
a multi-person ladder match, there's
Yeah.
just a lot of spots going on. But
Yeah.
we'll have to see where they plan with cooking and all that. But hey, enough of the cooking. The meals are done. The meals are complete. That was the Royal Rumble,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. Long
3 hours
long
coverage.
show this
And
time,
I told
but hey.
Watkins, before we went live, like, yo, it's gonna be a 3 hour coverage. You're like, nah. I'm like, yes, it's gonna be a 3 hour coverage.
Man, hey,
You
so,
didn't say that. What?
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
see.
said
No,
that our
this is
coverage
no.
was-
This is why I wanted to start earlier. No. You had to watch the press conference. You did a fucking stupid ass press conference. Fucking WWE bullshit. We could have been done an hour ago. But no.
But chat, I really did enjoy this conversation. We had an
yeah.
hour conversation of the women's Royal Rumble, an hour conversation of the men's Royal Rumble, tucking it in deep dive in it, and where we feel about where the direction could go, how we're needy and greedy of thoughts of the Charlotte Flair, the nepotism, and how it could go to, and where could it lead up to, and Jey Uso the unexpected. So it's been a great fun ride and great discussion. Honestly, at Royal Rumble, I still would not forget, and a great experience of the 2025 of pro wrestling starting out so far. I say it's a good book.
Yeah, and it's
Yep.
just good for people at home to have something to listen to if they're at work or trying to kill times.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of good conversation had here. A lot of speculations, a lot of theories going about and all that. Like we'll have to see where everything goes. Because hey, once Monday Night rolls around, we might get some answers. See how even Elimination Chamber is going to go. Because that's going to be the next big event from WWE. I mean,
Yeah.
I think next week NXT has Vengeance Day, so
Yes.
I mean, we're not going to do a show on it, but
No.
that's at least the next show that's under the WWE banner and all that. But I mean, you guys pretty much heard our overall thoughts, so we're not going to go around and say them again.
No, we're not.
You guys heard all that, so if you didn't, check out the time codes. They'll be in the description when the VOD goes up and all that. So I'm just going to
The
go
one
ahead
thing I
and
would
take.
say, I was just gonna say, the one thing I would say is like, comment, subscribe, and check out twitch.tv/Animal3 Studio for our sidecast for Monday Night Raw, and check out for the Weebs of the Ring episode 112 and 113 this week after Raw and SmackDown live show, and episode 3 of Gap in the Week talking about the news and any injury list, any Bronson Reed stuff, anything that pops up from this past week that we'll be discussing, and how the internet. And chat, also join our Discord server to maybe leave future Q&As as well for our show for Gapping of the Week. Other than that, I'm done. Yeah, you can end the show.
Thank you.
You was about to do Zengatsu? You was about to do the move?
About to do the Getsuga Tensei, but whatever. That's besides the point, everybody. Because we're gonna take time to thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. If you enjoyed what we had to say, go ahead and check out all our links below. Check out our handles right below as well. you can find us anywhere: Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, all that wonderful stuff. And also be sure to use the hashtag Weebs of the Ring, so that way you can interact with us about anything wrestling related before, during, or after these shows. And it's also a good way for us to check on the feedback from you guys, so that way we can enhance our show even more as we continue on through this lovely, fun journey that we're going on. So thank you once again to our production team as well for all the hard work that you guys, and thank you as always for joining us. And remember, no stunt grannies were harmed in the recording of this podcast. Have a good night, everybody, and be sure to drink your Pepto-Bismol milkshakes.
Mm-hmm. And we'll see you on Monday. So have a good night, guys.
Yeet.